What's up, gamers? Wog One BPL Nation. My name is Jimmy, and I welcome you to the 2 beta 2 Brawl. Everyone's been playing Overwatch 2 non-stop, and of course, we wanted to get in on the action and host a tournament. I have K-Wing and Wooly with me, an American, Australian, and European here. It's almost like the Watchpoint pre-show. How you two doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here. Happy to see some good Overwatch 2.
Me too. First time I'm actually getting to cast it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some high-level Overwatch 2.
Yeah. I mean, our A-League colleagues, they got so many teams. They're doing this wild Swiss system, preliminary round, all that jazz. We're here at B-League, we're a little bit more cozy. We're going to have an old-school, old-fashioned double elim bracket this weekend, which means 2 losses and you're out. We're actually almost ready to go into the action, so let's take a quick look at our teams here. For our first match today, it's going to be Gumble Gang versus Spear Squad. In the blue color we have Gumble Gang, led by Jace, a beloved caster colleague of ours. A lot of people on this team are actually friends. Ashy, I believe, an IRL friend of Azzy Jazzy, Zotzi and Fork, if I'm correct, they're also IRL friends of Jace. So some unknown faces here are making their BPL debut. It's therefore a little bit hard to predict how this team will do. We'll see in-game. And on the other side we have Spear Squad, led by Megalas, another caster colleague of ours. All well-known teams on this team instead. We got Missy, one of the best main supports in B-League. Timweek, who's always an unpredictable player but always fun to watch. Cartoon plays Blast Off champion with Insane Joker Policy. We have Anarchy, who went through thick and thin with both iterations of Unpopular Demand. Tree Guy, a BPL veteran, and of course Daniel, who didn't go last in the auction, which is worth noting. Ruli, which one of these two rosters do you like more, and why?
I think Spear Squad is a pretty easy prediction. You know, they've got a lot of known players, but you can't discount the Jace and Zodzi and Azzy Jazzy. You know, they're all really good players, so we could definitely pull out an upset here. And they're the higher SR average actually, so you could definitely see a little bit of an upset from Gumble Gang, and it might be a bit closer than we initially think here.
Yeah, some people were a little bit down on Spear Squad, but I think this is definitely a team that can maybe pull off some upsets here. Now, of course, the big addition in this beta build compared to our first beta tournament is, of course, we got a new hero with Junker Queen, a new tank who's been making quite some waves with her really strong kit. She actually did get some last-minute nerfs last night. Kevin, do you think this will affect the likelihood that we will see some playtime of her, or do you think the teams this weekend will be playing a lot of comms involving Junker Queen?
Yeah, I think you've seen a lot of this unique ability that Junker Queen has, which is that speed boost. Before, you really only had that on a Lucio, and you couldn't stack it at any point. But with the Junker Queen and that unique ability, as well as the Lucio speed boost, you've seen a new sort of composition come in that's a little bit of, it's new, and people really haven't had a chance to throw out a name for it, but I've heard things like Queen's Gambit, whatever, and it combines the Junker Queen and that Lucio speed boost. Am I coming through?
Yeah, we can actually see now. Hello.
Oh, hi.
I also heard a lot of people just say goats, because, you know, any comp nowadays in Overwatch is just goats. You know, anything that has a Lucio, we just call it goats. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely a very fun comp to watch, because not only is it very fast, but also just very sustainy, so it's just a very brawl-heavy comp. But yeah, I'm very excited. I've seen some scrims from some of these B-League teams, and I've definitely seen some Junker Queen being played, so I definitely expect some of that to be in this weekend's matches. Let's actually get some threads going, because our teams are almost ready here. K-Wing, what do you think? How's this match gonna end? What's your score?
I'm gonna take a pretty big leap here, and I'm gonna go with Gumble Gang because I like the X Factor. I'm gonna say them 2-1 though. I think that they pull it out just barely.
Okay, Wooly, what about you?
Yeah, I got to agree. I think it's a 2-1 Gumble Gang. I think Jace will be able to lead their team to victory here.
Okay, we got 2 Gumble Gang predators here. I'm actually going to make it free, because I also think Gumble Gang is going to take this one home. I'm going to say 2-0 actually, because I think this team is a lot stronger than people might think. So, well, I'm not. What's Fadeless doing in this tournament? They're back again. I think we had that same problem last time where we had a beta Brawl that for some reason some sub-30 teams showed up. But yeah, I'm also dreading Gumble Gang. But yeah, let's get ready here because the team is almost ready to go. So I'm gonna throw it over to our casters here, K-Wing and Wooly. It's our first match of the 2 beta 2 Brawl. It's Gumble Gang versus Spear Squad. Take it away.
All right, and that is it. We're going into our first map, which is going to be Push, which is going to be Coliseum. That's the map set. It's Push, Hybrid, and then Control. So we have those 3 maps, the potential for a draw on the second map. But you're looking at an interesting composition as you have new maps, new strategies, and new everything. This is why Overwatch 2 just makes me so excited, because so much new things all at once is a complete experimental zone now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be so much crazy theory crafting from everyone here. And you might see some stuff from Al, you might see some stuff that they've just made up themselves, especially in B League. Going with comfort picks could be the way to go. So really excited to see what these teams come out on, and hopefully it'll be a fun game.
Yeah, we get to see what these guys have been cooking up, and like was brought up beforehand, you did see just last night a pretty big nerf to the Junker Queen. Now, I don't think that's going to particularly roll back her use, but it might mean that she's a little more open to counters.
Yeah, absolutely. It drops the sustain for the rest of her team. She still maintains that sustain herself. The shields don't decay from her own shot on herself, so definitely could see her just trying to take all that damage for the rest of their team. And coming out, we have a Junker Queen comp from Gumble Gang here, whereas it looks like Spear Squad is starting on this Rhine with the recently buffed Moira.
Yeah, Moira is going to be a pretty big feature of all of these compositions, because that new Necrotic Orb, the new Weakened State, is a really big hindrance there. As if you nano a Reinhardt and you hit them with that Weakened State, you can basically just... that hammer becomes just like a little squeaky hammer like Torbjorn's. Already we see Tree Guy overflanking on this right side, disrupting the support of the Gumble Gang, trying to keep them away from focusing on healing that team. As it's Catswag and Charlie the first to go down, Megalass is swinging their hammer for the fences. It looks like they've hit a home run, but they will strike out if we're continuing the baseball metaphor, as it's Zodzi getting that first pick, but Spear Squad might have just done enough to secure themselves that first fight win on the robot.
Yeah, that was a really good aggressive fight from Spear Squad there. Just took their core of their supports and their Reinhardt just right up the center, not stopping, keep pushing, with their Tracer and Sojourn just on a little bit of flank, making that harassment so Gumble Gang can't keep pushing like Spear Squad were. So they get the first win here, and we're going into the second fight.
That we are next fight in looking at the ultimates. You do have Tree Guy on the Tracer with a Pulse Bomb coming up, and that's the closest we are to an ultimate. Well, I say Tree Guy, and they immediately fall as Jazzy finding an early pick on the Junkrat. And now you're looking at some good aggression from Gumble Gang. They got that first pick, and they're capitalizing incredibly well. If they can get Missy, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good pick there from Azzy. Just they came in with the nades, and Tree Guy either didn't have recall or he used it already, and yeah, Azzy takes advantage of that. So ultimates coming up. We've got Tree Guy with the Pulse Bomb, and then a lot of ultimates coming up. We've got Missy with this Sound Barrier. That could be really big to set some tempo here.
That it could. Azzy Jazzy also has that Riptire, and these single target ultimates have been so much more impactful now that you've lost that second tank. And there's the pick on a Tree Guy. Tree Guy's been falling a lot. Anti coming out, and so big. They're not going to get the lead. Gumble Gang finding multiple picks off of these ultimates. They're going to allow themselves to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely massive ult there from Zodzi. Missy tried to counter with the beat, but it was just too late. They couldn't get any sort of sustain after it. And a big opening tire onto the tree guy, just unable to get away from it. Was trying to harass Azzy Jazzy, but the sustain that was there from Catswag and Ashy, who now have 3 ultimates going into this fight. They're going to be a coal for coal here, you'd imagine. Early starting shatter from Megalas.
Huge shatter comes in. Can they find a pick off of it? No, Catswag actually, both support ults used and both supports fall for the Gumble gang, and that is not what you want to see, especially even in that lost fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and just the shatter and the coal used from Spear Squad here. They still have this Sojourn ult, and actually Megalas making the switch over to the Doom Fist, trying to put some really fast pressure on it, trying to go even faster than the Reinhardt cop. We'll see how that works for them. We're going to see both Sojourns have ult here. And fight starting.
There you go, fight starting. Ultimate coming out from Cartoon first, finding the pick onto their counter, getting that headshot off, and just pick after pick for Cartoon Blaze. 2 picks to open it up, and now Spear Squad looking to equal.
Yeah, looking to get the bot in front here, and it looks like they should be able to do it. They should be able to get to the butt scratch here, and they're setting up on top. DPS ults coming up for both teams. Spear Squad does have that beat, so they could be able to sustain through here. Got an early tire here from Azzy Jazzy, and gets the pick onto the Moira.
That is huge. The Catswag goes down. The tree guy is coming in clutch, getting 2 picks before eventually falling down to Ashy. It's close, it's scrappy, but Spear Squad come out on top.
They come out on top, they get the checkpoint. Really fast ultimates from both these teams here. They're both playing really fast. And seen some... Oh, that was a bit of a glitch there, I think. Tree guy looked like he was on Cassidy for a second, but he's back onto the Junkrat. It looks like we're getting a little bit of push from Gumble Gang after those couple of picks on push. It's really hard to sustain through it. And
early pick onto PogChamp. Charlie finding a really huge pick there. The Moira does provide so much sustain you really can't deal without, and Gumble Gang finding pick after pick. Really not even needing to find a whole team fight win, just these little picks that delay the Spear Squad.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've been pushing the bot this whole time throughout this. Getting a little bit of a contest here now, but the Gumble Gang should be able to just snowball this over and get the picks. They should take the lead here and get this checkpoint. Once Tree Guy goes down here.
Tree Guy still staggered that out for a little while, but pushing it forward just a few more meters will be exactly what they need. And there you go, they take the lead, and Spear Squad now on the back foot as Gumble Gang have all the ultimates they could want and more, but Spear Squad also coming in with multiple as well, and we're getting a pause.
Yeah, getting the pause. It's been a really close game here so far. Both teams playing really, really fast. I like the Doom switch here off of the Reinhardt. I think Doom allows you to engage past that Junker Queen, and with that shield decay that she has now, I think it really lets you set a tempo that they can't counter as easily.
Yeah, this has been pretty back and forth, and I can't agree more that the tempo that has been set by this Junker Queen composition has been that difference maker. Because you think Rush allowed you to go fast, you haven't seen nothing yet. As the Junker Queen combination with the Lucio speed amp jumping into hyperspace, it seems like.
Yeah, just really fast engages set by both teams here. And when they're not using ults early, Spear Squad just isn't able to keep up with the sustain of Gumble Gang. We'll see this See this Junker Queen just keep pushing through it with it. Once they take engagements, they're able to sustain them through that shift, even with that decay. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing here from both teams. Actually, I like that they don't think they can keep up with their own Junker Queen, so they're trying new things with the Reinhardt. They're going back in here. Charlie using their ult.
Yeah, Tree Guy using that ultimate. It gets taken down by Charlie's ultimate. That's huge. We've seen these repairs go massive and get those opening picks that really turn the tide of the fight. Already back and forth. Azzy Jazzy uses the beat. It's gonna be close. Ashy goes down, but you have multiple Lucios on the scene. The beat's gonna come out regardless, and Gumble Gang, through an interesting copy, look to sustain through this fight.
Yeah, I can't say whether that copy was on purpose, but it certainly worked. Able to get the beat up really quickly, actually. Not something you see very often with the Lucio copy. There was just a lot of fighting and a lot of AoE damage going on, so that beat actually was a massive sustain tool there. Coming back in, used the Queen's Shout there earlier, and also her ultimate, big purple coming through, and the beat just wasn't enough to sustain from Missy.
That it was. Azzy Jazzy is going ham in the back line, keeping Gumble Gang in this fight and keeping this bot moving.
Yeah, it just keeps on moving. We had a very close game before this, but now Gumble Gang, they've got the handle of it. They've snowballed their ultimates. They don't have any left now, but neither does Spear Squad. They're looking to build up this tire quickly.
They need something, anything. They need a miracle here. First pick is going to be absolutely massive. Big stun coming in. Weakened status going out. Zadzi goes low, goes down. There's Tree Guy, has the ultimate, might not need to use it, and that's going to be it for Spear Squad.
Yep. Finally a reprieve for Spear Squad here. And Tree Guy using this tire early, trying to get some staggers here. Unfortunately, it goes down. But looking at the ultimates here, Spear Squad got Cole and Doom ult, so they'll be able to sustain through a lot of this fight. Looking to go, oh no.
Oh, that's not good for Spear Squad, especially not with this time left. They need to just keep pushing, and Azzy Jazzy is not keen on that, getting a triple kill and looking for more. Will they find any is the question, as these staggers could be huge.
Yeah, definitely looking to try to get some staggers here, but the spawn is really close, so they're able to retreat. Looking really bad for Spear Squad here. They got to win a lot of fights in a row to get the bot anywhere close. Ultimates coming out early.
A lot of ultimates from both sides. Spear Squad holding them a little bit later. It's Tree Guy going down first, but Charlie soon follows. It's trading for the DPS. This barricade is as close as it can get to the end, and it's Gumble Gang still pushing, still finding the pig, taking out PogCamp. Missy tries to keep everyone alive, but it's just not enough. Cartoon Blaze trying to hold out desperately to stay alive, goes down, and Gumble Gang are showing up incredibly well.
Was that an Ajax?
Whoa, that was...
I think that was an Ajax there from Ashy. Looks like Megalas was able to get the punch as the beat was coming out, and they don't have that sustain tool anymore. That might have been a really big stun there.
Stunned out of the beat by one of the few CC abilities left. This is the chance now for Spear Squad. They have to keep pushing over and over again. That's a good start. Getting the picks for Charlie. But you're looking now at really difficult circumstances here. They have not even gotten to the midpoint, and they need to push to almost the end of the map. Here's the tactical visor from Tree Guy. Going to get the pick on Ashy and there you go, triple kill for Tree Guy.
Yeah, great punch there from Megalas. Definitely won them that fight. Gumble Gang wasn't able to sustain here, but they they got to win a lot more fights. It's going to be a big push, considering the bot is going to have to push in this over 70 meters. So I don't like Sphere Squad's chances here, and Megalast going low really early and down.
PogChamp and Megalast are gone. Missy has to use the beat just to try and keep the rest alive, but Tree Guy is going to get shredded and taken down. Missy soon after, and there you go, Gumble Gang. It was a good effort from Spear Squad, but it's going to be Gumble Gang taking our first map in a solid fashion as well.
Yeah, it was really close to start with. Spear Squad came out swinging literally on that Reinhardt, but they just weren't able to keep up with the sheer pace of the Junker Queen comp. And that was absolutely great start for Gumble Gang here to their 2 beta 2 Brawl campaign.
That's a huge start. It puts them in such a driver's seat. It's important to win that first map. When it's a best of 5 series or a first to 3 series, we're here at first to 2. That's match point for the Gumble Gang, and Spear Squad need to win 2 in a row to do anything and to be effective. It's going to be tough for them, and we're going to our next map, which is the hybrid map. What do you think that Spear Squad are going to pull out here? What do you think they can pull out?
Well, obviously that Brawl sustain comp didn't quite work out for them, especially going later into the Coliseum. So maybe we'll see some sort of dive heavy comp here. I've forgotten the map pool, so I don't remember what's on hybrid, but I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of comp that they can go to. Maybe some dive, maybe some poke here. Definitely interesting to see where they go.
I think if they want to play this sort of rush composition, it's hard because it plays very similarly, not the exact same, of course, but it plays very similarly to the Queen's Gambit composition with the Junker Queen, with the Lucio, and what we've seen the Sojourn and the Junkrat for dishing out a lot of damage. And it plays very similarly to the in-your-face style of rush composition. We've even seen in other forms of it, we've seen it come with the May Reaper, with that sort of bog standard rush DPS line. So I'm wondering, would King's Row be a smart choice? Well, we actually know what it is, but do you think playing into that rush competition is going to be a good choice as we go to Pariso?
Oh, that's great. I love to see the new map coming in here. I really don't know if it is. Coliseum is a great rush map, and there we had Gumble Gang prove it. So a lot of different things can be run on Pariso. We haven't really seen much, even in contenders. So I'm really excited to see what these play. The second point is just very, very narrow, so you could see a lot of rush coming in here. And then that third point opens it up to a little bit of poke. So you could see a lot of comps coming out here. And we'll see what they have, what Spear Squad has in their pocket, see why they picked here. Or whether they just wanted to play on the new map.
Yeah, there's two sort of motives for doing this. Either they think that they have a strategy for the new map, or they're like, this new map's really cool, let's play it. And yeah. I really wouldn't put it past Megalast. I would not put it past the Spear Squad to just be like, I think this new map is cool, let's play it. It is cool though.
It is. It looks extremely pretty. I absolutely love the aesthetic of this map. Mm-hmm. And we get to see a lot more of it here. They're starting on what looks to be a Orisa comp, which is very exciting. Haven't seen any Orisa comp, and Gumble Gang starting on a Sigma poke comp with the double flex support.
Yeah, I do like the approach from the Spear Squad, both because it applies to their name. They do have the battle cattle, the Orisa, adding in the javelin, but also you have more of a poke composition, and you have the ability to keep your distance. And if you thought Gumble Gang were going to go rush, which they aren't, this is a good way to get away from it, to try and keep your distance and fire from afar. Cartoon Blaze in the sky is going to be the difference for me as we look at the engagement as the Sigma of Gumble Gang looks to get closer and closer. They take the high ground, but Cartoon Blaze has been firing on them this entire time, already charging up 60% and climbing. And this is huge for Spear Squad, but Megalast falls first, and Jace finds that first pick. Gumble Gang is now going to be able to just push into their heart's content, already getting a first pick. And Cartoon Blaze
Barrage coming up.
has the barrage, but what difference is it going to do when you're down this many picks? And okay.
A little bit of a C9, but they were leaking players. And I think Spear Squad just gave up a little bit too much space there. They were getting a lot of poke coming in, but they just gave up all the way onto the point and just let Zodzi take all the space on the Sigma. Was able to be sustained through Ashy, through that VAP, just pumping heals it did. I don't think I even saw Lamp come out, so while Cartoon Blaze was getting a lot of splash damage, wasn't able to finish that kill off, and we see Megalast switch over to the Sigma here, matching this poke comp coming out.
All the map control right now is in the hands of Gumble Gang. They're charging up these ultimates pretty quickly. Unless Cartoon Blaze can pull out a massive barrage, wouldn't put it past them, we might have a difficult time for Spear Squad. But now we see almost the complete opposite. As Spear Squad push in incredibly aggressively, the solo barrage onto Charlie after one direct, but Jace gets a double, and
Missy with the Glock
comes in, the Doc with the Glock coming in to rock your world.
Yeah, that was a pretty big barrage there from Cartoon Blaze. It might have just been the solo kill, but it also put a lot of pressure onto everyone else. Jace managed to get a couple of picks there with the visor, couldn't quite finish it off, and they've switched over to the double hit scan now, but Cartoon Blaze has switched onto the Sojourn.
Cartoon Blaze knows when they're countered, and you have to respect that, as it's very easy to just keep playing into a negative matchup. Oh, that's not a good place for Megalast to be. Gets caught out in the Gravitic Flux, and it's going to be Ashy finishing them off. 2 kills counting. Big stick coming in from the grenade from Charlie.
Oh, nice sleep.
Wow, from Kimwe getting the big sleep, but it might not save their life. It might just prolong it. 18 health, trying to stay alive, but
able to. Might get a contest coming in here. Oh nope. No, just as I say that, they go down.
They do go down. It's always that sort of, it's not a C9, but it's like a mini C9. It's like a little half C9, a little C4 and a half, if you will.
Yeah, they just weren't able to reset themselves to try and get back onto that point. Tim Weeks managed to stay alive that whole time, but unfortunately the pressure just been put onto Spear Squad. They couldn't take any space back, and Gumble Gang just had all of it. Coming out, Spear Squad do have 3 ultimates coming out here, and I want to see the big flux here, but it can be countered by this Transcendence by Fork-FS.
That's the big old matchup here. You have the Gravitic Flux, you have the Transcendence, you have the Tactical Visor, and Fork-FS is going to be able to counter all of them with just G-Transcendent. Behind noon coming out, Charlie gets slept and cooked by Megalast. Just dominated, and Megalast allows the members of Spear Squad to hang on.
Yeah, massive sleep there onto the Cassidy. There's no damage reduction if you get slept for that high noon. So that's a big play there from Tim Week. Has this nano now. Might see a nano railgun here from Cartoon Blaze. That's really all they've got in the pocket. And Zodzi has this flux again. It was absolutely massive on second point. Let's see what it does here.
That's the question. Huge ult coming in. Zodzi uses it. Has the... Oh no!
Oh no, Tim Week down.
Visor came out from Jace and just immediately got deleted by Cartoon Blaze. But Tim Week is gone. Multiple picks coming in for the Gumble gang, and they're rolling through. They're going to get a contest at the spawn potentially, but if there's a pick, it's going to be nice.
Yeah. They've managed to use the... Oh no, Cartoon Blaze goes down in an instant. Tim Week couldn't get the nano onto him, unfortunately. And that's a very, very fast cap there from Gumble Gang.
Huge time bank there. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. All of the pressure is off of Gumble Gang right now. They're up 1-0 in the series, and they have a massive time bank. Even if Spear Squad finishes the map, they are guaranteed an attack. And even better, if Spear Squad finishes the map in overtime, they are guaranteed at least a draw. All the pressure here is on Spear Squad to finish the map with time in the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest difference there was the support line there of Gumble Gang. The Zen Bap is just such good poke and also a lot of sustain with the Bap there. They were able to take a lot of space very early, and it was hard for Spear Squad to stop them. We're seeing Spear Squad switch it up a little bit, looking to go a little bit faster here with the... It looks like they're going to play a Brawl comp with Zarya. Very interested to see how that goes. Especially on defense here. Oh, sorry, attack. Whereas Gumble Gang just sticking on this poke comp, sticking with the Baps set.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, says Gumble Gang, and I cannot help but agree with them as Jace finds an early pick onto Cartoon Blaze. Jace hasn't even been 10 seconds yet. You have to give them some time. Jace going off early. Charlie goes off the high ground, tries to put pressure onto this point and test it as Anarchy tries to reign supreme over the point. Can't get a first pick in the back, but Charlie takes down Missy. These picks have been brutal coming out from Gumble Gang.
Yeah, late pick onto the Lucio and on... Oh, there's lots of staggers coming here. Cartoon Blaze goes down again, and there's just nothing the Spear Squad can do. That Cartoon Blaze goes down to the first pick. Jace just chucking a right click out there. And they weren't prepared for that close hold on the high ground there. A lot of poke coming in, but you can easily just retract back onto the high ground for the point here if you get out-rotated. And Big Rock coming in to start the fight.
Whoa! Megalash just flinging themselves up onto the high ground, coming in for a brawl. Jace is going to go down from Anarchy. That's a good opening for Spear Squad, taking out Tim Week. Both Baptistes are gone. It's the Lucio and the Zen only for heals for both these teams, but it's Spear Squad finding all the picks all the time. Reigning Supreme Anarchy takes down Charlie, and that's going to be their best hope for point A. I say that though, but Zodzi comes in. Zodzi, hello? Zodzi, you cannot just do this. You cannot. Oh my gosh, I thought for a second.
Tim Week coming back, able to get that final pick, but they might be able to re-engage here, Gumble Gang. They've got Ashy waiting in the wings. And Charlie coming up top, so there's another fight coming in, and Ashy goes down early though.
That's a huge pick. Ashy going down means no sustain. Even the pick onto Missy is just small potatoes. Short comfort.
Yeah, absolutely, and Anarchy doing a lot of work in that initial first fight. Before Zodzi could get that 3k back, Anarchy hit the first 3k, and that was what was important. Massive distraction in the front line from Megalass, and Anarchy just going in the back line. taking names, getting picks, looking to get something with this pulse bomb here now.
Getting picks and taking names already. Spear Squad have all the ultimates they could want. This is going to be an ultipalooza this fight, as almost all 10 ultimates are online for this lobby, and we could see an absolute mess in terms of just the amount of ultimates that are going to be happening on the screen. 5 ults for Spear Squad, now 5 for Gumble Gang, and it's just going to be a matter of who uses them best. Megalast throws it in, Pulse Bomb comes out, Anarchy takes down only the Immortality Field, but it leaves everyone else weak and vulnerable to some quick finishes, and few picks coming out from Gumble Gang, but just not enough. Zadzi will try to stay alive, but they're going to be melted by the Zarya beam. Still staying alive.
Jade's coming back.
Though, comes back, takes out the Baptiste before getting traded out by Megalast. Still might not be enough. It's close. It's beyond the point. But Zadzi goes down, and that could be the last bastion of defense there. Charlie finds a pick on a Missy through that amplification matrix, but they don't have anyone on the point enough to touch. And here you go for Spear Squad.
Yeah, unfortunately they just weren't able to sustain. Zodzi was staying alive for a long time. That grab from Megaless, absolutely massive, taking out 2 squishies early. Nice pulse bomb from Anarchy just to get rid of that immortality field. And now we see Charlie switching off of the Sojourn, going on to the Cassidy, trying to get a little bit more brawl power here. And we've just got select support ultimates coming in. Team Weak early window.
Early window, but it's just only going to be there to see their downfall as Zadzi just finds pick after pick.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened there, but they were just able to walk through the window, it looks like, and take out their back line really early. Good communication there from Gumble Gang, good fast play. Even when they're playing that poke comp, they know how to set the tempo here. But we got another pulse grab coming up, maybe? It was big last time. Let's see if it can do it again for Spear Squad.
That's the question. Already Flux comes in. Megalast gets taken out. Flux gets the rest of the team, and it's a quick finish for Gumble Gang. Holding on, forcing a lesser time bank from Spear Squad.
Yeah, yet again, Gumble Gang just setting the pace there. Really early Flux there. Spear Squad still trying to build up their ultimates, their big combo. But Zodzi said, no, I'm setting the tempo here. This is our game. Anarchy forced recall early.
That's huge. Anarchy needs to have that recall to be in position for the grab. Oh no! Zadzi eats the grab. No! That was the game-changing ultimate. Borg, though, takes out Cartoon Blaze with the headshot, and Gumble Gang off of a huge eat from the Sigma, from Zadzi. Stay alive and have just had no pressure on them this entire time, it seems.
Yeah, Zodzi is going absolutely insane on this map. That's a massive, massive 8. Their entire combo was relying on that. They've got some ults coming in here, but Zodzi being the hero of the day, massive fluxes, massive 8s. Love to see it. And speaking of, they have another flux already.
4 ults on the side of Gumble Gang, and you can bet they're going to use them early. Anarchy gets taken out. Flux lifts multiple people into the air, draws out both support ultimates, but it's Cartoon Blaze with a double kill. Jace is in the backline trying to make up for it, but they can't. They're just stuck running behind this pillar trying to stay alive. Now you see me, now you don't. Now you see me, now you don't. Eventually, they do die.
Yeah, that was... Oh, a couple of late picks here from Gumble Gang. Spear Squad might have to back up, but there was a really strong beat there from Missy. Just let them sustain through that big flux. And the rail shots through the window just doing a massive amounts of damage. really good support ults there from Spear Squad.
I think if ForkFS can get this Zen ult up really quickly, this could be a bad situation for the Spear Squad. Jace gets taken out early though. Mega Last trades out. The grab does get fired out first, and it is all Spear Squad all the time. Overtime takes in crucially. Spear Squad will not have an attack. We go to extra rounds, but that is still an if at this point. Zodzi is on the point, putting out a last stand like a hero. The Transcendence comes out. Everyone's staying alive. Charlie has the ult, uses it, takes out Anarchy, and the Spear Squad fall. Gumble Gang coming out in dominant fashion, showing off and getting an incredible celebration at the end. They have made a great statement that they are a team to watch out for in the 2 beta 2 Brawl.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially with this poke comp, they looked fantastic. You know, it took them a little bit running to get warmed up on Coliseo with that Junker Queen comp, but now that they're playing this poke comp, Zodzi on the Sigma was incredible. Eating stuff, like I said, like that grab eat was fantastic. I still can't get over that. Yeah, Gumble Gang making a massive statement, like, hey, we could be a team to beat. We could take it all the way here.
I could not agree more at this point because, I mean, you just saw what we saw. We just saw Gumble Gang going off massively. And like you said, the Sigma just dominant from Gumble Gang. Zodzi's Sigma, not only just the fluxes, not only just the eats, incredible stuff. Had the clutch fights even in the neutral game, even without that ultimate. And now we're looking at a team to beat potentially with Gumble Gang. Welcome back, Jimmy.
Yeah, that was definitely a very dominant showing from the Gumble Gang. Like I said, a lot of unknown players on that team, so I wasn't really sure where to put them. They could have very well be the best team in this tournament, and they definitely had a good showing here tonight. I know you two already talked a little bit about some of the individual performances. Is there anyone who you would like to point out maybe as like a player of the match? Like for me personally, I think the DPS line for Gumble Gang, especially Charlie, was really good. Also Jace coming in on the soldier there on map 2. They've been really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought Charlie was really good on the Sojourn, but I can't go past Zodzi. Set the tempo early on Coliseo, and then the Sigma was incredible.
I can't help but agree. I really can't. I love trying to spread out the love and the shout outs here, but Zodzi on that Sigma carried fights. Zodzi on that Sigma won fights, and not a slouch on the Junker Queen as well.
Yeah, and with that, Gumble Gang, they move on in our upper bracket. Meanwhile, Spear Squad, they showed some promise for sure. Definitely not as bad as some people prior to the tournament might have thought they were, but tomorrow they will have to fight for survival as they move into our lower bracket. I believe we have some people for interviews coming in. I see Jace actually here. Hi Jace, how you doing?
Hi gamers. Yeah, not too bad. We should be getting Zodzi in here as well. I think the man deserves a few words after doing like 17k damage on that last map.
Yeah,
absolutely. We just praised Zodzi a lot. Definitely a very dominant performance. And there he is, the man of the hour. Hey Zodzi, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
So congrats on the win for Gumble Gang. Now you guys have been together for just about a week. I'm sure you had some scrims already. I wanted to ask both you, Jason and Zodzi, how's the team mentality? Is everyone getting along well? I know that you guys actually have a lot of like IRL friends in this team, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was one of the things that went for the formation of the team. When I picked up Ashi, as he was like, oh, wait, my IRL friend. And then we bid on Cat Swag, and then I got a DM from Andrew to say, if you need a DPS, pick up this guy, he's cracked. Charlie, that is. But yeah, considering other teams I've been on as well, like this was probably the best first scrim environment I had. Everyone was really positive. Everyone was super energetic, willing to learn, willing to listen. And came out the gates flying really well. Like we just locked that Junker Queen comp first scrim and completely rolled with it. Felt really confident, so yeah.
Great, and I know on map 1 specifically, we saw you play a lot of Junker Queen, you know, the new tank hero. Everyone's excited about her. I wanted to ask, how's the team been enjoying playing comms with her? Is that like a hero we will see from you guys a lot, or what's your opinion on Junker Queen, the new tank hero in Overwatch 2?
She's super fun. Kind of OP right now. You can kind of just W in and kill things, and that's it. But yeah, it's super fun to just play and just it feels very team deathmatchy and with that comp, and you just slaughter everything.
Yeah, and now you're moving on in the winner bracket. You got a good situation for tomorrow. You know, you can still lose at least one match before it's all or nothing for you. Is there actually any, as we can see the bracket here, is there actually any other opponent, maybe besides Spear Squad, that you're really looking forward to playing? I believe you're going up against either the winner of NITEMARE 2 or ekittens. Any favorite opponents you have?
I think we can compete with every team in the bracket. I think NITEMARE 2, I should expect them to be ekittens, but you never know. I think NITEMARE 2 are probably the strongest roster on paper, but paper doesn't win you Overwatch 2. So, yeah. And do I really want to play? Waddling Warlords, just because Dong and Tommy are homies, so be fun to knock them out.
I'm looking forward to tank diff everyone in this tournament.
Yeah, I believe it.
Well, if
I
you
believe
keep that
it too.
performance up, then definitely excited to see that. Well, I want to say thank you very much, Jason and Zotzi. Thank you for the game, and see you again tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you for the interview, Jimmy. Good cast, by the way, guys. Watched a bit of it. Map 1, super awesome. Good job, Ty. Good job, Wooly.
Thank you.
Take care, bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Well, that's it for our first match here. We still have 2 more games coming up on the stream. I believe up next is going to be Neptune versus Camp Half Baked. 2 really cool brandings, I have to say. I want to say thank you very much, K-Wing and Willy. I can just echo what Jay said. Great cast from you two. And yeah, we will be right back after a short break, so don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Never ever thought it'd steer me wrong, no. Beauty doesn't last forever. and twisted. Something in my chest is skipping. With you now my whole world's different. 'Cause I can't go back now. Tunnel vision. Now you got me out of missing. A love that you haven't given. A love I'm craving right now. Can we skip the messages? All of these texts and calls. It's just a lot of playing pretend. And I wanna do more than talk. I guess that you can call us friends, but that's not what I want at all. Get into the space I'm in. I wanna do more than talk. I'm not feeling conversational. I don't really wanna play it cool. Take this to another level. More than talk. Go ahead and make it so comfortable. Say your things and never be wanting to. As long as you take this to another level. Staring at the edge of your shirt, wondering who will make the move first, making me forget I've been hurt. I've never been so bold or reckless. Now we're running out of our words, overturning tables we turn, throwing out the things that I've learned. Cross the line and take my chances. And baby, thinking this is it. Either it's right or wrong, but I've already pictured it. And I wanna do more than talk. Nothing like a crazy risk to give me what I really want. Get into the space I'm in. I wanna do more than talk. I don't really wanna play it cool. Take this to another level. More than talk. Go ahead and make it so comfortable. Say your things you never knew you wanted to. As long as you take this to another level. Take this to another level. Wasting time on my own. All the places that we go. All this pain builds within. Footsteps fade, what could have been? Finally, I feel more free. The end of you and me. Let it go, let it be. My heart belongs to me. My heart belongs to me. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go.
to say yay. Trixies are all over. We're going to go full sweaty here and see if we can take a win here.
Yeah, very interesting. We're going to be seeing a Wrecking Ball coming out from Catgirl Empire. Not something I was expecting to see tonight, but it's a good one nonetheless. But I mean, it's not going to work well for you there because no, they're still not off the side of the map. So, but it does not matter in the end. With that time that the Wrecking Ball was not disrupting, the side of Crabapple find everything they need.
Yep, I mean that was not a good look there coming out from Hyper. I thought they were trying to maybe get a quick roll through assassination and take control of the point, but now they're going to have to go in 30% down on Rampage from Azu. So also you were losing the Ana. I mean they were trying to completely switch it up and they just got zero value out of it.
Yeah, and it might bite them in the butt in the end. We'll see. They're going to come back strong, but they still have not found a pick, and it is going to be Azu finding the first pick in this fight. It is going to be traded out, however, as it's still Anywood's point. But yeah, again, just as I say things, the opposite happens. Grunt comes in and taking out Para, and that is going to be Crabapple winning that fight out.
Almost 40% in counting here, and Laura has been getting a lot of value on the Sojourn, just not enough in the assassination department. Trying to go for the long-range knife there, as it was a couple pixels short of taking Para back to them and just taking him off the fight.
Yeah, that would have been a huge play coming in if Azu got that knife. As they're going to start things off. The sound barrier is there from Grunt to keep them up and healthy. And, well, that's going to help them win this fight out as Pengulek starts things off for the kills. As that is going to be Crabapple yet again. They're just looking so dominant right now. I don't know what Catgirl Empire can even do.
I love the aggressive sound barrier there out of Grunt. I think Grunt was another big substitution that came in for them. There's the Rampage, gets 3 in it.
Yeah, they're going to start things off. They do get weakened of their own, however, but they're still alive and still kicking. The Coalescence is out. There is the Dragon Blade. Kylo needs some big plays from it. They find 2. Hyper as well, taking out their Junker Queen counterpart. And finally, Catgirl Empire are going to get some capture percentage on the board.
Off of 1 ultimate. That was a 3 ultimate fight that Crabapple just lost. And that is going to turn the ultimate economy into Catgirl's favor. So now, as they start picking up percentage here.
Welcome back, gamers. It's time for our second B-League match of the night. It's Neptune versus Camp Have Baked. I'm still your host, Jimmy, and I got Sir Wolfham and Band with me here. How's it going?
Jimmy, I think we're doing pretty good. Ready to see some Overwatch action. Overwatch 2 action, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to see how things turn out today. I'm excited to see 2 teams go at it and see who ends up on top.
Yeah, and let's actually look at these 2 teams while we're at it. We got on one side Neptune, one of the many nautical teams in this tournament. I don't know if it's the summer weather, maybe there was like an internal memo that I missed, but we got a lot of sea-themed teams here. But we got the Captain Brightside, we drafted, I would say, really solid team. I believe 3 tanks with Brightside himself, Thomas and TM26. We got Juicebox and ZD on DPS, I believe, and then Majestic and Titan on support. On the other side, we have Camp Have Baked. I really love their branding, by the way. It's very original. Almost reminds me of the Greek restaurant that I like going to around the corner here. Led by Drayton. I have leaks from a secret chat that Drayton is in, and I quote, "My goal was to draft UPD, or unpopular demand players," and well, you definitely saw it during the auction. He was definitely trying to get those players. In the end, he only, I believe, got Pio, but I would say that's a good pickup, especially considering that Doomfist got some hefty buffs today. We also have Rain, former Nightmare player, Kalis, who was part of Atomic in Season 3 B-League. Of course, that team won. And some more unknown faces with Fresh Toast and Ruby. Now, Ben, you're the B-League expert here. You know most of these players really well. So tell me, which of these 2 rosters do you favor and why?
You know, I'd say it's pretty much a toss-up. It's going to depend on a couple different things. I think, obviously, for Camp Half Baked side of things, I think if Pyojin or Pio can really, assert their dominance on the flex DPS, enabled by, either Fresh Toast or Drayton on the tank, then they're going to have a really good opportunity to take the win here today. But on the same side, same goes for Brightside and Juicebox on Neptune. If those two can maintain map dominance and, you know, show up in the kill feed consistently, then they're going to have every opportunity to take away the map and the match as well. So I'm really interested to see here. Obviously, you've got players on both sides that have either know of each other or have played with each other. So with that in mind, you know, there's you know, some synergy opportunities for players that have played together, as well as opportunities to kind of know the preference of certain players on the opposition. So interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of names that we usually see around these parts in B-League tournaments in BPL, so definitely a lot of known players. Now, during the first match, I talked with Kaming and Ruli about Junker Queen, the new tank hero. Let's also not forget that this beta build also has a lot of new changes to heroes. Most notably, this week we got a big rework from Moira. Her damage orb is now a skill shot that applies, I think, a 75% damage debuff to anyone it hits. It sounds crazy on paper, but I haven't really seen a lot of teams so far use that in scrims this week. Wolfram, what do you think about Moira's place in the competitive meta right now? Do you think she's really overpowered, or what do you think will... do you think she maybe needs some more buffs now?
Well, the interesting thing, Jimmy, is I mean, obviously I haven't seen enough gameplay. The beta's only been out for so long, but what's very interesting to me is that, at least in the games I'm playing publicly, I'm just speaking from a personal perspective, I'm seeing the tanks do a lot of damage, sometimes more than a lot of the DPS characters in those games. And if the tank's at the front, then that's going to be the character who I would imagine is most likely to get hit by those Moira orbs. So it's interesting that this change, I kind of anticipate, may not even affect DPS players as much as you would expect it to, given their innate role. I'm not sure whether that makes Moira balanced, imbalanced, you know, OP, a little bit underpowered, whatever you have. But either way, I think it's going to be a unique interaction, not between necessarily her and the DPS as much, but I want to see it kind of see how it plays with those tank roles.
She seems better now, for sure. I think that's what we can say for now. The team seems to be almost ready, so let's do Preds real quick. Band, what do you think? How's this gonna go?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble here for picking either side, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the completely unbiased staff perspective for Team Calf Baked and give them the 2-1 victory.
What about you, Wolfram?
Well, pretty uninformed on these teams, but I gotta have that caster synergy with Bance. I gotta stick by it. I'm gonna go with Camp Half Baked as well.
Let's hope it's synergy and not a caster curse.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go with Neptune just because there's more friends that I have on that team.
Ah,
So
that's fair.
that's my choice. Although, like I said, I really like the branding of Camp Half Baked. I wish both these teams could win, but there can only be one. So, well, our teams are almost ready here, so I'm gonna throw it over to our casters here, and I'll be back after the match for some interviews. So, Band and Wolfram, take it away.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay, Bant, we will be taking it away here in just a moment. We will be flying over into that map, and we're going to be seeing the first to two set up. As we can see, we're going to be starting on New Queen Street. After that, we'll be moving on to Hybrid, and if necessary, a control map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see what comps we get out of these two teams off the start. I think that will be a really big tip as to how this series goes. You know, depending upon whether or not we see the Junker Queen come into play, if the reworked Moira becomes a factor. I know, you know, a decent amount of the hero pool of Titan on Neptune, so interested to see what he comes out on the flex support and to just see how the match goes. Excited to get things started.
Yeah, very excited as well. I personally haven't seen too much of the push game mode. Kind of in a focused scrim environment. So from a caster's perspective, this is incredibly exciting. This is a real treat for me, Vance.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm in my limited experience in the scrim situation or in officials, it's really interesting to see the difference between these brawl comps or these rush comps or the dive, and it seems to be split into those three facets because the fights are very fluid and consistent. Like the fights can drag on for quite a while if you don't regroup effectively. So obviously, you know, any team that ends up with a majority of staggers is going to be hurting in the number of fights they can get within the map. And you know, completions do take place. I think we saw one here earlier today in the prior match. And you know, if a team can build the momentum and keep the opposition on the back foot, then there's a lot of opportunity to snowball these sorts of maps. But as we get in here, let's take a look and see what comps we end up with.
I still have a few more moments before the teams are going to be absolutely locking in. As we can see, the countdown time, we're going to be starting around that 20-second mark. So these teams going to have time to chill, and we're going to have time just to cruise the streets here, get to take in all the nice scenery. A little bit of a colder map, I'd say, Vance, and I feel like, except for Volskaya, we didn't really have too many cold maps before.
Yeah, I think you're on point there. I mean, you know, I would say Hanamura often felt frigid, but I guess that may have just been 2CP. But yeah, I would agree. It's nice to get up here to Canada. Being a Minnesotan or a former Minnesotan myself, it's nice to be up north. It's chill, it's casual. I'm a hockey fan, so it's nice to get to see things happen. And the spawn rooms, personally, I'm just a huge fan of the spawn rooms so far in Overwatch 2. Not because I spend a lot of time there, but because they're pretty. So as we get going here, looks like we have a rush matchup versus a rush matchup. We have a mirror match. Let's see what happens. Oh, I take that back. We actually, in fact, have a Genji versus a Sojourn. Let's see.
Yeah, a little bit more of that precise damage going to be coming through with the Sojourn. We're really going to start to see how this kind of battle tails itself as we get through this first contract. Now the team immediately looking to take strong possession of the bot instead, looking for these off routes. It's going to be a nice fire strike taking out the Mei early on. That's going to give Camp Half-Baked a little bit more time to breathe and a little bit more time to kill, as we can see them coming through here. Camp Half-Baked so far looking very strong over Neptune.
Absolutely. I think Rain's job here, as we see him heal up Fresh Toast, gives them the opportunity to take map control. And as we all know, this first fight here on Push is a really, really big momentum piece, because you're able to section off the opposition team and start to round that first corner. So as we make progress here, we'll see which ults come online first.
So far, looks pretty well even, with the exception of Camp Half-Baked having stronger support ultimates in terms of getting close to being online. But Maywald's coming out trying to just section off anybody they can, but so far no kills really resulting from it, and the team has to be very careful here, getting pressured out. The Immortality Field gets committed. Do they get pressured down even further? They have to be careful because the Earth Shadow comes in. They die during their Earth Shadow animation. Crucial loss there for Neptune, and they continue to lose more and more. That may going to be the next to fall. Amplification Field drops with the Baptiste as well. Neptune not going to be able to pick it up this time, but they'll have that amplification in the pocket.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see here how much they commit onto this fight, because they will secure the close spawns and the checkpoint, but I believe the Camp Half-Baked main tank is further back or stuck in first spawn. So yes, it looks like they're going to be giving up map control. Heading into this fight here, no shatter. Both shatters have been used. I'm interested to see, yep, an overclock comes online.
It's going to be Juicebox looking for those headshots, but Camp Half-Baked wisely decides to just kind of fall back. That Genji has to play very carefully. Taking quite a walloping there. Very close to Blade as well. They'd love to save that. And once again, Neptune losing their tank early on. It's going to make it hard to maintain this control, and we can already see that as Camp Half-Baked just start driving that bot forward. It's going to start gaining some more progress as well. Even though Neptune is still fighting this could be a very unfortunate loss for them.
Yeah, I think it's very telling. You can see that Kia, or as I would know, Drayton, is doing a really nice job of setting up their Reinhardt to have every advantage in the Rein v Rein fight, just by having walls, using their ice block early, and helping them take space, which then allows for them to clean up the Reinhardt and then go in with Pio on the Genji to chase those cleanup kills, which seems to just be working further and further up the map.
And if you're PO, you really want to try to get that sound barrier out before you throw your blade in, but it's not going to quite come out just yet. Instead, it's going to continue to be those shurikens. Blizzard does come out, but it looks like it's for the side of Neptune. Camp Half-Baked going to be frozen in spot, but a lot of healing being put for Camp Half-Baked, trying to keep themselves up, but they're losing members pretty much at a slower pace than Neptune. However, Neptune now just has their support to try to keep themselves up, but they can only do so much for so long.
Absolutely there. I mean, fight after fight, the Neptune main tank, or tank I guess I should say, just keeps going down first. I think they have to find a way to engage where they want to. It seems like right now they're focused on engaging onto the enemy, whereas they should be taking the fights where they want them. But this far into the map, I think it's hard to take the fight where you want to. You do have to engage, because the resource of the point is finite, and they're getting closer and closer to the end here, as we see a couple ultimates come online. Juicebox with the overclock.
And Juicebox trying to just maintain that zone presence. You can only do so much as Camp Half-Baked when that shield drops. That Reinhardt now going to be the first one to drop, this time for the now attacking Camp Half-Baked. But they get pushed back, which means the Neptune can start regaining some ground as soon as they clear that bot off point, or they clear the members off of the bot. And now they're going to start having the opportunity to make some headway.
We have PO stalling the point yet again. And now they've been cleaned up. So heading into this fight here, we have the Blade online for Camp Half-Baked, as well as a Blizzard and almost a Shatter. On the side of Neptune, I expect to see a Shatter come in here, so maybe some shield break via a window, and then maybe a beat late fight if they're forced to use it in response to Blade.
A great opportunity here. Worth noting, Camp Half-Baked still holding on to that Genji Blade. They gotta be waiting for that sound barrier to come through so they can just have a little bit more damage. Another Blizzard gonna be hitting, but it does clean up one onto Neptune. No Lucio, but it doesn't matter. It looks like Neptune's already been cleaned up. Camp Half-Baked gonna continue to move that bot. Will they get it to touch the barrier, though?
That's a good question here. Wow, we had a lot of ults invested in that fight, but as you said earlier going into it, we still have that beat on the side of Neptune to counter the eventual Blade of Camp Half-Baked. I think it's very important, as we see here, to maintain a stacked composition so that you can take the fights as 5, as we see here, and now it's breaking down.
Breaking down just a little bit. Camp Half-Baked using that mate wall very defensively, trying to save their Reinhardt, and Neptune, with an excellent response, knows that that immortality field has to get forced out and then immediately takes it down, focuses on the Reinhardt. Now Neptune are on the hot foot here. They can continue to chase down Camp Half-Baked. They're trying to find whatever targets they can. They still have a few ultimates in pocket as well, should this fight go their way, which it certainly looks like it will.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, honestly, I've seen PO hold this Blade now for going on 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes. They could have easily built another one in that time, in my personal opinion. But it's all to be said. Neptune here is barely getting 20 meters pushed so far. They have a quick engagement here, and let's see what happens.
Oh no, man, this is going to be terrible. That Maywall excellently severed off a portion of Camp Half-Baked, but it looks like Neptune just didn't quite have the follow-through to really swing in with it. Right now, a lot of ultimates being committed. Sound barrier going to be...
Lead has been committed from the Majestic.
And it's finally the opportunity to PO to get that Blade in, but the members might have already been lost a little bit too severely for Camp Half-Baked, although they do start to claim some kills back. Looks like it might just be enough, as things still going in both directions for both these teams. The supports for Neptune just trying to keep everybody alive as much as possible, mostly each other.
Absolutely here. I think it's going to get scrappy here consistently and stay scrappy as the series continues. I think both these teams really want to put their best foot forward here in order to, make their statement on this tournament. And with that in mind, we're seeing Neptune here start to make some progress towards that first checkpoint finally here at last, with about 3 minutes left here in the map. I'm interested to see what happens with this Fresh Toast Shatter.
We'll see if it lands something large. A lot of pressure being put onto Fresh Toast. That wall could have perhaps caused some pain for that Earth Shatter, but the Earth Shatter didn't quite seem to land anything. Now the Blade's going to be coming out from PO, knowing that there's no sound barrier to save either of the DPSs. The Baptiste tried not to land within the wake of the Blade. So far managing to dash around, but the Shurikens eventually find their mark. Reinhardt, the last one left alive, swinging big, but will eventually fall.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it for over a minute here. What's going to happen with this Pyojin Blade? And they get 2 with it, and then they clean up the BAP for the 3rd kill. So ultimately, it's worth the value. With them draining the time off the clock here, they're just focusing on pushing that bot closer and closer to their, what's it called? The wall, I guess, that the bot will push. So I think here we're going to be interested to see if they fully commit or if they back off in favor of taking the fight in the place that they want.
Well, the fortunate thing for the team Neptune is it's going to be so much harder for Camp Half-Baked to make any more progress, although this Blizzard might come in, lock everybody down, and Neptune might have to go right back to spawn, especially with that immortality field and their tank going down. It's going to be a respawn amplification matrix trying to come out, but Camp Half-Baked just walked right past it, not able to get the benefit if your opponent's right in front of it. And it looks like Camp Half-Baked really trying to push tempo here.
Absolutely. I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, being able to chase those kills with a Genji and have that dash be able to get reset after reset gives you every opportunity to snowball fights. And with the way things are breaking down in this push map and how fluid and consistently fights happen, it's every single advantage being able to engage and clean up quickly. Big Blizzard coming online here. I think Oh, that's 3 dead on the side of Camp Half-Baked. It looks like Neptune's going to be able to push the bot back. I say that.
Oh. There's only so many members left for Camp Half-Baked. They're gonna still have quite a bit of time. Neptune is really gonna start to feel pressure from this clock, and less than a minute by my watch. I mean, that's not a place you want to be in, Vance.
No, it's not. I think they're ultimately going to have to win 2, probably 3, if not 4 fights in order to complete the map here, and they're going to have to do them in sequence without dropping a single one. We have the Blade invested here. Pyojin coming in.
Trying to get something, takes down the Immortality Field, then 2 with 1 swipe, trying to go for that third. Can't quite make it happen, but still going to be chasing down whoever they can, and that might have been the backbreaker for Neptune.
Absolutely. I think the time remaining on the clock, they need to get a quick disengage here now in order to get the next fight and have it be a full fight. But again, as we said, we've been saying all game, Pyojin's up here consistently pressuring those that are trying to walk backwards, and this is going to be the last fight.
And it looks like the Doomfist is actually going to be the one coming out. That the TM trying to come out, switch things up maybe just a little bit. Does a good job again. Pyojin out of the fight and making sure that Genji not going to be a pain in the literal backsides of this team for much longer. Plus, you have the quicker respawns that are at least going to come in for a moment for Neptune, but that means they have to keep pace with these kills, not just lose member after member. Amplification Matrix comes out, but the Baptiste might not live long enough to benefit from it. No, it does not seem so. Overtime is going to tick down. And we saw at the beginning, and it pretty much carried throughout the entire map. Camp Half-Baked coming in strong.
Absolutely. Their consistency with their engagement on behalf of pressuring the enemy Reinhardt just let them have every opportunity to snowball each fight. And it's not so much that they were losing or winning fights quickly, but they're eliminating that main tank quickly, which then allows them to chase those spawns or those staggers as they set them back to the spawn. And gives them, again, as we said, just a great opportunity to maintain pressure, map control, and that's what wins maps.
You're absolutely right. I think that if you lose any other member of the team, it's not great, but you're certainly able to kind of fall back a little bit more cohesively than if you lose somebody like a Reinhardt, who's going to be stopping all that damage, who's going to be putting that kind of hard barrier, literally, between you and the enemy team. But once you lose that, especially, as you mentioned it so many times with that Genji, you're just going to get chased down, you're just going to get cut in half every time.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see because so far in the tournament or in Overwatch League or other levels of play, it seems like Sojourn is being used to apply the majority of damage on the side of the DPS. And in this instance here, we have a Genji playing that is allowing not so much the same amount of damage to be applied, but the damage to be applied in a manner that enables the Reinhardt. Being able to take positions on the off angle, force supports to, take steps back or, rotate in a fashion, which then leaves the Reinhardt in a position where they can't stand up for themselves, and then they get walked at and fall over. So again, just finding ways to set up and enable your Reinhardt in that rush mirror is what it's all about. Whoever lives longer and does more, the team usually follows suit. So I'm interested to see, how Neptune can respond here. Maybe if there's a different compositional look that they have in the bank that they can utilize, if there's substitutions coming into play. But yeah, in terms of the rush mirror itself, Calf Half-Baked looking like they have things firmly in hand.
Oh, I absolutely have to agree with that one, Bant. And, you mentioned we might see some different looks coming out from these teams, but this Overwatch 2, the beta anyway, is looking worlds different from Overwatch 1, of course, but to me, most notably in the fact that we're only going to have one tank now. You can have 7 different playstyles instead of kind of the default, Ori Hog, Ori Sigma, Reinhardt, Zarya. The
what
standard.
Can we pair with a diva?
Yeah, you don't have to pair things together now. You can just run one tank. And, honestly, I'm going to be sincere. At this point, it's so experimental. I think you can get away with running all the tanks if you just, really leverage their strengths against teams that, may not know how to play against it. Nobody's fault, but it's just at the point of learning we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as the ceiling is continually pushed forward on these new skill heroes, Junker Queen, for example, we understand the basic play style of how to play against her. She's kind of a hybrid in many ways of Zarya and Reinhardt with the melee and, the beam sort of damage tick over time. And at the same time, you have to play against her completely differently. And same thing goes for any other of the changed heroes. Obviously, Winston is pretty much the tried and true, stayed the same. Wrecking Ball stayed very similar. But again, we're seeing a lot of differences in how teams are playing the tanks, simply because there's one less of them. So again, interested to see what the next composition is, and as well as what the next map is to boot.
I believe we're still going to be having the pick. Oh, no, it looks like they've already decided to be Midtown. It's going to be coming. So I like it. More new looks coming in from the beta.
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity. I mean, I've seen teams run the rush here, particularly on third point. I think first point, I've seen a mix. It really depends. You could see a little bit of the Doomfist 5. I think there's merits to the Sigma being played here, or the Zarya. Again, it's going to come down to what the comfort preferences are on the side of these tanks, and what they are most confident with, in order to really decide what they're going to go with. And I think it can vary a lot from point to point as well. So I'm interested to see what sort of swaps take place.
Oh, I absolutely tend to agree. I really like kind of the dynamics of Midtown, especially when you're going through that second point, that streets phase, where a lot of times in a lot of different maps, there's not so much complexity to it. I like the overpass built in on this map. It kind of creates a unique dynamic of one team can really hold high ground, but if they give that up, well, suddenly it works against them in a very severe way.
Absolutely. And by the look of it here, we're going to have more of the rush. Obviously, this is BPL B League, so what you see in the spawn room does not always indicate what you'll see on the field. But at the end of the day, the only compositional difference I see here is the Ana on behalf of Titan versus the Baptiste on behalf of Rain. I will say, in my personal experiences playing in BPL, Titan does love the Ana. It's what their comfort pick certainly is. Sometimes it gives them every opportunity to succeed because it's their preferred hero, but at times it can be punished. The Baptiste has a largely different kit, and with that difference in kit, your tank is going to have to take a different amount of damage, but you have the aggressive opportunity of the anti-nade.
We'll see if that anti-nade can land any huge value for the side of, I believe that's going to be Neptune, as we look ahead here. That Sojourn already building up a bit, ready to get that railgun shot fired off at whatever skulls might be unlucky to find it. Not quite fortunate enough that time around, but we can see Juicebox once again. It's May trying to create a little bit of separation, create a little bit of discomfort for Camp Half-Baked, but they nestle themselves firmly on already. That was absolutely huge, getting 3-4 by my count, and just like that, they're going to start to fall, but Neptune's giving up quite a chunk of possession for it.
Yeah, I mean, you give up the one tick, but again, I speak about it, and then it takes place. Titan with a massive anti-nade splashed onto the backside of point. The Mei wall disrupting the rotation to their initially taking point. They might have been able to secure a second tick, but as we saw, Fresh Toast got caught off there, and now we see them re-engage here. Both Mei walls are out, and a pin.
It doesn't quite connect, but another anti-nade does. That Reinhardt's certainly going to be feeling the pressure. Fresh Toast has the shield to take quite a bit of it, however, continue to swing ahead. Another Mei wall trying to build some reprieve, and right now it just looks like it's a slog for whoever can fight for possession onto this point so far. Not too many kills. Eventually the Reinhardt does fall, and that's not going to signal great things for Camp Half-Baked.
I think we have some tactical crouching taking place there on the part of the Sojourn. We'll let that slide for the moment. As we see the ultimates, the Mei Freeze comes out from the side of Camp Half-Baked, as well as, they've swapped over to the Soldier, it seems. And then on the side of Neptune here, their defense, they're going to have the Nano in play here, as well as the Blizzard. So I would expect to see maybe an early Sojourn overclock in order to potentially buy them space and find a pick. And we will see what happens.
I'm really hopeful that this Soldier swap's going to indicate that a little bit of faster tempo is going to happen for Neptune, and so far hits are down. Yeah, Neptune playing that very well, really relying on that Lucio to get them carried to where they really would like to be, but so far losing that Sojourn not going to be benefiting them too much.
Wall, the male comes out,
trying to lock up everybody in that little subway car, excuse me, and Neptune still not giving up too much space beyond that first tick that they gave up initially. Earthshatters do go out, doesn't seem to claim too much. Camp Half-Baked might wish they had that one back on the back end, but right now they're just trying to get onto the better end of this subway train.
Absolutely. They're having a really difficult time getting through this train car, and I feel like that might have something to do with, obviously, the defender's advantage, but the Sojourn as opposed to the Soldier. It just seems like Sojourn does a little bit more damage, so a lot of people call her better Soldier. But again, as we come into this Mei ult here, we have a fight breaking down, the beat coming out. The beat...
He does not right connect. A large Earth Shatter
Oh
camp.
my goodness, yeah.
All knocked onto the floor, and it looks like Neptune were really struggling for that first fight, giving up quite a bit, but it was well worth it at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they were just struggling to remember the objective. But with that anti-nade bailing them out, it seems like their defense is holding strong here. In terms of the ult cycle, there's nothing online for either team, but the Soldier ult will come up first for Camp Halfbake. So if they're able to get a rotation in and set up on the point here, they may have every opportunity to take this first point. The pin goes through. They're taking point on the point. Ugh. And now we have a Hanzo as well on the field. That I did not notice.
And Ruby having that tack visor up, there's no immortality field to save anybody, so the only thing that's going to be mitigating any damage is going to be that Reinhardt shield. A little bit of zoning caused by that Sojourn Molotov type effect, just sectioning off a section of the map. And right now, it seems like Camp Half-Baked are going to be successful in getting the first point cap, meaning that the fire truck. Is it a fire truck? The alarms are going to start sounding. Yeah, there it is. Fire department.
We have a little bit of wee woo as we head into second point here. Interested to see, yes, as expected, Camp Half-Baked trying to take positioning up here on the high ground. They are sacrificing cart push at the time in order to take this fight, and it may seem as though it was not a worthwhile investment. The Nano coming out on the side of Neptune, which, as we mentioned earlier, yet again is giving the Reinhardt on their team every opportunity to take the space that they want, and they're chasing those cleanup kills.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Ruby could not get out of there with the Soldier. The legs not quite fast enough, and I understand a little bit the mentality of Camp Half-Bakes. It's like Eichenwald, where you have to let that cart pass at a certain point, but you don't give up that much space. You don't give up that potential ride.
I think this, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, this fight over the high ground is extremely important. Interested to see Thomas here fighting for the corner. Yeah. Oh, the Tracer goes down.
It's going to be a great opportunity for Camp Half-Baked. They just have to keep that Hanzo up. He's going to even have Dragons up to try to section everybody off that high ground if he can get a nice enough cut, nice enough angle with it. It's going to be going out exactly as a call, trying to just drive across, takes out the Honest, so no more anti-nade. Fear is going to be coming through, and Fresh Toast is saying, forget the high ground, I'm just going to keep swinging through, trying to find anybody else. However, it's Ruby, their teammate, who falls. Just like this, it looks like Camp Half-Baked.
They're very highly extended here. As they round this corner, I'm interested to see what happens with Thomas's Shatter. We may have one Shatter on either side. Beats have been traded out. And there's the Shatter from Thomas.
It does connect onto Camp Half-Baked, the main tank Fresh Toast, but not going to be dealing as much damage. Yeah, the Reinhardt for Camp Half-Baked looking just a little bit more proficient on those slams. Y'all trying to find that last remaining member for Neptune so this cart can get delivered to second.
Absolutely. It looks like they're going to roll the cart in here and maybe able to chase up some stagger spawns. We'll see. But again, as they start to build momentum, I think it says about, what, a minute? I can't tell. Just under 2 minutes here left as we head into third point. We'll see them bully for map control on the corner. They're getting these late picks, which again are going to give them every opportunity to maintain map control here. They're building up towards, I want to say, a window here. Well, hoping to see that come out aggressively. We'll see what happens here in this fight. We have soldiers on the high ground.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky. I'd anticipate for that soldier to take the duel onto the high ground, considering I'd probably rather see the Sojourn. Up there, it's going to be the attack visor coming out for Neptune, trying to get some damage. Does so successfully onto Ruby. It's going to be the soldier on the Neptune squad who comes out a little bit more victorious. Immortality field goes down, meaning the Camp Half-Baked has nothing to bail them out. A Fire Strike does clean one another to death, going on to the Lucio of Neptune, meaning that now Camp Half-Baked can really surge in and try to get some more damage under their belt.
Yeah, nothing to bail them out except for the fire strikes of the main tank, as well as his Shatter coming online, as well as he's holding close to the spawn doors. You know, they're finding ways to lose someone, but take someone and find that trade as well. The Nano Rhine comes in here to negate the window, and there really doesn't seem to be much focus fire on the side of Camp Half-Baked. My goodness, I'm trying to talk too fast here as things are taking place very quickly. Shatters online for both tanks, as it looks like Half-Baked are going to disengage here.
That is a very unfortunate set of investments for Camp Half-Baked. The Soldier Tack Visor comes out immediately as the Nanoed Reinhardt charges in. The Dragons don't really section off too much. That Baptiste not able to get too much with that Amplification Matrix as well. Plus, Neptune still looking to build up quite a lot faster to their ultimates. You almost have that sound barrier online for Camp Half-Baked, but
Ruby pick
going down, you're probably not going to want to use it this fight.
Okay, they get a trade. They just need to get a touch here, and we'll see what happens with the Shatter. That's going to make or break this third-point defense or attack. Oh, and he loses it to the...
And that means that the Earth Shatter from Thomas is going to be looking pretty free to swing onto the cart as well. Trying to build up just a little bit more cart progress, or excuse me, cart halt. Eventually, it's going to be Neptune who does hold here. No third point for Camp Half-Baked.
Absolutely. It looks in every way, shape, or form like the Ana is not so much to say the better pick over the Baptiste, but on the side of Titan, it is certainly a comfort pick where they're able to consistently find values, not so much to win out fights, but to win fights in a way with a different win condition where they can get the pick off of the anti-nades and just take over once those picks have been claimed, and you know they're getting the fights that they want at the places they want, and they're eventually getting the hold. I'm interested to see if they come out on the side of Camp Half-Baked. Man, that's really just is a mouthful. I'm struggling with it today, I'll be honest. But interested to see if they make a compositional change or if they trust the Rush mirror on defense.
And I want to talk about something while we have a moment here, Bant. We look at Neptune and you look at how far Camp Half-Baked got, and you think that's probably pretty good for an escort map, or for, excuse me, a hybrid map. But Neptune really almost had that pretty well locked down on first. Their second looked fairly strong as well, and third was just a continuation of that. It's not that they just lost control at any one point. It's just that there were those very brief moments where they weren't quite able to keep speed with Camp Half-Baked. They did put the lid on it during third, but I don't think Camp Half-Baked's going to necessarily have a great time defending this one either.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, again, the offensive utility of the anti-nade as well as, well, actually we have mirrored DPS here. It's going to come down to whether or not there's a difference in the utility between the lamp and the nade. I think, again, holding this top train car, if they commit to that fight, the Baptiste on paper has every opportunity as long as the Rhine is able to block the shield. But we're seeing the rotation come through, and they're going to be able to flip the map almost immediately.
And it's such a tough cut for these Mays to make with their ice walls. There's so many areas the teams can kind of re-maneuver around. We see Ruby trying to catch anybody from that side angle that they can. May goes down for the side of Neptune. That Reinhardt looking to take a wailing as well. Has to keep that shield up, and that on so very close to dropping, but will be kept alive by the Lucio for a moment, eventually cleaned up. This time, ironically, once again, by the Lucio of the opposing team, and both teams losing members tooth and nail.
Absolutely. I think obviously the offensive team has the advantage when you're taking these picks off of first point because of how close the spawns are. But honestly, this looks like it could be going either way, and we have every opportunity for a strong recontest. The May wall may prevent that entirely and secure the spawners on the side of Neptune, but it looks as the middle pillar comes down, they're going to touch for the third tick. It just depends on whether or not anyone's there, and it seems like there's not going to be the recontest they were hoping for as they do so in a split manner. No ults really invested on either side here as we head into second point. We do have the Shatters coming online for both teams. The Nano is looking to be building quicker than the Baptiste window, which is all to the credit of Titan here, who's being able to put in and pump out a ton of damage, or sorry, a ton of healing into Thomas. And now we see them bullying for top left control as Camp Half-Baked steps up on the high ground.
And we saw here that Camp Half-Baked tried to get a bit too aggressive taking this high ground. It does look like Neptune's going to be falling into that same trap. They're letting that cart just slowly make its way around that first turn before they really start leaning into this high ground. A big pin coming in from Thomas with the Nano, but it's not going to be enough to get any kills off the back end of it. Instead, it's going to be the Blizzards coming in, trying to mix things up just a bit. Camp Half-Baked still looking very good for it. May, Reinhardt, both dangerously low, but the healing is going to be there. That Baptiste keeping them in good health and spirits. Camp Half-Baked managed to retake control.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw the Ana and the Baptiste go back and forth just then. The Ana nanos Thomas, who then pins into Fresh Toast, who is lamped and is able to respond to that pin with Shatter to save that fight. Both Mays go back and forth. We have an overclock and a beat online, and Neptune is gone.
Yeah, that was a very rapid loss for Neptune. You can consider that fortunate if you want. But either way, they're going to have to come back for a second attack. They're going to have a few more ultimates online to work with, and Camp Half-Baked not going to really have too much defensively.
Yeah, they've chosen to stay in here and fight the corner close. They've aggressively windowed here, which is Maywald, and the Shatter comes out, and it's large.
Large is certainly one way to put it, as we see the kills just coming through. Even the Ana going in, enjoying a kill or two. And it looks like the brazenness of Camp Half-Baked may have kind of bitten them in the backside, as now they have to try to perhaps scramble for this last final contest.
I think they will get the second fight here. It's just going to depend on what quality it is going to be. It looks like they're pretty good here, coming out in the right timing. They're going to get out before the cart reaches the corner. The Maywall and Blizzard seems to be coming out. There is no beat to respond, so they're going to have to zone away from the cart here.
Oh.
The nade is blocked.
Yeah, that was a very well-timed Maywall. Intentional or otherwise, and it looks like somebody has to start contesting, and that's going to be difficult for Camp Half-Baked. Earthshadow comes in, takes the Ana.
He's able to save.
Yeah, excellent play from Majestic coming in there. Fresh Toast goes for a pin, gets juggled, and eventually just put back into the grave. So far, Neptune in an excellent position here. Like I said, Camp Half-Baked not having an easy time.
Yeah, and they've completely invested their ult bank here on second to try and maintain that hold. Which leaves them in an awkward position. You know, they've got about 80 meters to work with, and they've got to contest here, consistently winning a fight versus a Nano and a Shatter. So they're going to have to not only have a block, but they're also going to have to find a way to weather the storm that is Top Thomas on the Reinhardt in order to maintain their hold on this map and this series.
And so far, I'm loving the way that Neptune is trying to play with these Sojourn grenades, just really trying to separate the team from their main tank, make that tank feel a lot of pressure here. The Immortality getting taken down. Camp Half-Baked no longer has anything but the shield to keep them protected. Neptune losing their main tank, and we've seen what happens when Neptune loses their main tank. They suddenly start to have to juggle onto the back foot. It looks like this time, at least a few of them are going to get out and safe. That Sojourn looking like it's going to be one of them, but Camp Half-Baked not going to chase too much. It looks like they've also adapted and learned.
Yep. That's all you ever can do, is do a little better than the fight before, and it seems that they've learned not to chase too hard and get too punished by the respawners. Again, we still have the Shatter online here on the side of Thomas, as well as the DPS ults coming on deck. Titan down early.
And that is such an unfortunate character to lose early on. That Ana could have really done some work towards her ultimate if she was still in this fight, but Titan going to be staying at that halfway mark. Juicebox, however, getting a nice exit kill onto Ruby. That Sojourn not going to be able to apply damage down that consistent lane. We'll see if it comes back in their favor as we see the Blizzard, or hear the Blizzard come out.
Yeah, the Blizzard comes out very aggressively, and it's really in any effort to get them some map control prior to Titan's return here. But as I say that, Titan dies to the Dragon, and now Thomas is down as well. They went down from having 0 ults at the start of third to now having a pretty strong ult bank here heading into the 2-minute mark.
That is, you're just frustrated if you're the Ana for Neptune right now. It feels like every time you're walking out of spawn, you're just immediately getting punched in the face and sent back packing. But now your team will be forced to regroup with you. You'll be coming in a full 5-man. Yes, you do still have to contest with some of those ultimates, but this time it's the Mei who falls first.
Yes, and if I'm Titan here, I'm thinking, how do I get in without being isolated or picked off? I know, obviously, Titan, having played with not only the Hanzo on the opposing team, but also having played in the past with a number of other members of Camp Half-Baked, I think they are aware of Titan's value, and they want it taken off the table as soon as possible. We have the Beat and Shatter on the side of Neptune online, and I'm interested to see what happens with his Overclocked.
Tell you what, we'll call it the worst compliment you could ever receive. Neptune going to be starting off with a kill. Ruby going down, and the sound barrier to keep the rest of Neptune alive. Once again, Titan taken out of the fight just as they're starting to build up their Nano, but it looks like Camp Half-Baked aren't quite out of the wet works just yet. Kya really getting focused down hard, eventually cleaned up, and this Lucio really trying to do their best to both heal, kill, and everything in between, trying to keep these defenders off the cart, juggling them into mid-air. Majestic certainly helping the rest of their team out there.
Absolutely. Majestic does a really nice job there of setting up his team with not only the beat, but also keeping the objective moving. As we round into the last corner, the Mail comes online here. We have the Nano as well.
We'll see what kind of damage can get done here. A lot of kills already going in favor of Neptune, but somebody from Half-Baked has to stay on this cart. Immortality field trying to give them the reinforcements to do it, but they can only do so much, and so much is not enough. Neptune now going to be coming up 1-1 versus Camp Half-Baked.
Absolutely. I mean, at the start of third point, I don't think either of us guessed it would be as closely contested as it was, but they found the way to consistently take fights where they didn't necessarily have to invest a ton, but when it came down to it, the opportunity for Neptune to invest they just got returns on those investments. They had strong Earth Shatters. They had a ton of consistent nanos, as well as the DPS ults finding value, and that was able to eventually keep them on pace to finish the map in time, even if you're able to lose, or even if they're losing that flex support early in a couple of fights.
Yeah, and again, that Ana just feeling so bad. I mean, at least I would be getting focused down. What 3 out of the last 4 fights we saw. Eventually was able to get that nano, which really helped them for that last final push. Alongside, of course, that giant May Blizzard that was just clearing the field, or at least threatening the entire field.
Yeah, I mean, the value on the side of Neptune's May player in order to not only create space for their tank with the wall, but also, pardon me, with blizzards in those blizzard fights, ways not only getting value on the freezes, but also getting them the value of, sectioning and zoning off space so that they can take the next subsequent corner, so that they can take control and then, force the fight that they want. And on that last corner there, you really don't have a lot of space to work with once that May freeze comes out. If you try and back out, you're letting the cart get there closer and closer, and they just didn't have enough at the very end. It was well contested back and forth. We're in for a really interesting control map here on map 3.
That is certainly very true. We are still waiting, I believe, for the teams to give us their decisions, but a lot of kind of considerations we have to take into account here, Bant. What do you think the biggest impact we've seen so far for, let's say, one from Neptune and one from Half-Baked so far have been?
I hate to sound like a broken record, so I won't go into this part on detail, but I honestly feel that the difference between the Ana and the Batiste is huge. It forces different play styles out of what is considered a similar composition on the rush, but obviously one has more offensive capability and the anti-nade, and the other one has the more cushion for the Reinhardt, so that they can take more of the position that they're looking for. I'm interested to see how that plays off on a Koth map. King of the Hill, in my opinion, isn't always the best place for rush. But as we head into Nepal here, I take back everything I just said, because Nepal is an excellent rush map. On many different points. I think we're going to see more of the May. I think the Ana nade has every opportunity here with the varied high grounds on some of these maps. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to very much so the May play on this final map.
Oh, I would absolutely agree, 120,000%. We saw the May walls being so essential on our previous maps, and now it feels kind of like in this map, it's so claustrophobic and there's so many tight areas that can kind of confine you onto point. It's going to be even more so. The exception, I think, might be Sanctum, but so far it doesn't look like we're starting off on that. If I could just barely peek out the point.
I know, the angle. I would believe we're on...
5, 4.
Well, it's the one with the tower in the very center of the point. The name escapes me at the moment, but looks like we're going to have double Shimada on the part of Camp Half-Baked here with the Hanzo Genji rush, and then the Soldier May composition on the side of Neptune. It gives them a little bit of an opportunity to take off angles, but let's see how it breaks down. It's breaking down quickly.
Oh, breaking down like fresh toast's soul.
Yeah.
Right, immediately sent into the compost bin, and now Neptune, they have an easy spot of just being right on top of the point. They get that first cap, and it was very quick, which means they're going to get it pretty much immediately.
Yeah, it was interesting to see there. I mean, even with Camp Half-Baked, man, I really can't for the life of me keep it together on that today. But even with the Symmetra teleporter to get them out of spawn quicker, somehow Neptune gets to the point first and takes over the control. And we all know how important it is to take first control here on a Koth map. As we see ultimates begin to come close to online here, maybe not, I can't tell.
So far, looks like, again, another early kill for Neptune.
First.
And Reinhardt for Neptune getting dangerously low. Juicebox will be the one who ends up suffering the most, however, as they get taken out of this fight by Kya. Now that Hanzo going to be looking to change their targets towards perhaps that giant menacing Ryan. That's the most immediate thing, but we see them trying to perhaps shave the right side of that pillar instead. Either way, Camp Half-Baked playing a little bit of a pickier comp where they have to really try to let those DPS make the plays instead, and that's always a bit riskier.
The Batiste goes down here. Oh, and the Shatter's returned.
Oh!
And both main healers are down off the field, but Neptune here is missing their main tank. As they try and stall out for percentage, they're gonna obviously clean up the fight here. I say obviously, I'm hoping it takes place a little bit quicker if I'm Camp Half-Baked, but you know, the stalling on the side of Neptune here is giving them every opportunity to reinvest in this fight and maintain the stall.
oh my goodness, the stick-to-itiveness is the only thing I could call it of Neptune right now. It looks like they're even starting to turn this fight a little bit. We see them get 2 characters or 2 players down. That Genji Blade comes out, eventually cleans up the Ana, but this has all been build up for Neptune. Yeah, you say finally, Camp Half Baked has won it. They won the battle, but that's a tough battle to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of the investments on the side of Neptune here, let's think about it. They put in Shatter and they put in Nano, and it got them the percentage that they're looking for. I believe it says 88 or so, and that in terms of Koth gives them 1 fight territory. So they're able to invest here, maybe pull out some ultimates from Camp Half Baked, and then re-engage with ultimates of their own. We hear the Visor come online here. I'm interested to see. Yep, they're running up to the point eventually.
It's peculiar to see that Visor come out a little bit so late into their positioning. I wonder if it was perhaps a mispress coming in from Juicebox. It looks like they just immediately back. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We see the Dragon come into point here as we had Mayalt and Beat come out as well on the side of Neptune, and Beats have been traded, in fact.
And so far, it looks like Neptune coming off just a little bit stronger. Camp Half Baked still have both their DPS, but as I say that, could be the Hanzo now taken out of the fight. The pin tries to go in deep. Fresh Toast running conveniently into a May wall by the team of Neptune, eventually taken down. And without that main tank, Camp Half Baked might find it harder and harder to stay on this point.
Yeah, I think the ice walls on the side of Neptune here have been doing what I expected them to be doing, giving their Reinhardt every opportunity. But Titans down here early. Now Camp Half-Baked's able to re-engage with numbers.
They will try, but Brightside has these ice walls. Just keep at bay, but the Soldier gonna be falling. It looks like the Hanzo's really getting that value in those first picks. If they're able to play off those or get those early on, immediately it seems like the fight is set up very well for Camp Half Baked, and it needs to be because Neptune currently in overtime. If they just force all of Camp Half Baked off the point for long enough, they will get it, but it's going to be flipped over. Now Half Baked's ticking up the timer.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I'm interested to see what happens with the Pyojin Blade here, just because, I mean, they need it to go, they need it to do a lot. They need to be able to maintain and weather this next Nano that comes on point, which is almost surely going on to the main tank of Neptune here. And here it comes.
The Blade coming out, immediately turning focus towards that Soldier. It looks like Neptune might have all of their dreams slashed, no pun intended here, just off the back of that one ultimate. They're going to have enough time for maybe a quick another fight, but it's going to have to be a little bit sloppy.
Absolutely. I think they're going to be able to secure the touch here with the main tank being nanoed. The Tracer goes down here.
One of the Dragons as well coming out, and Camp Half Baked looking very good so far. The Reinhardt's able to take down their opponent, but it's only going to be doing so much, although suddenly with the Mei coming into pocket might certainly help quite a bit. That Genji now going to be out of the fight. You can't deflect that frozen ice beam. The Tracer able to get back quick enough, but yeah, we've known them to be deadly on this Hanzo. You have to be very careful trying to keep them off point, but really Neptune needs to focus on cleaning up those few remaining members who were on point. It's going to be the sound barrier trying to come out. I believe it didn't quite connect. Might have gotten frozen down, but now it's going to be Neptune who has to turn for the sound barrier, slowly getting the point flipped over in their favor. But this is all going to come down to who drops the ball first.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to this Shatter here on the side of Fresh Toast. Let's see if he's able to connect here. The ball on the side of Neptune has come into play in order to maintain the stall. Let's see what... Gosh, it is scrappy here.
It is very tough right now. Earthshatter goes in, doesn't seem to quite find exactly what it needs to, and that might be the opening that Neptune need. We see that ball out the Hanzo. The pin comes through onto the Soldier, going to be taking them down. And right now, it looks like this could honestly go either way. Safara coming in from Pyo.
Absolutely.
Trying to rein in the rockets, and that's going to be a hard target to focus on when now you have to focus on the point and the sky. It looks like that might have done it for Camp Half Baked. The Moira goes down, both supports down. It's just going to be up to the ball to try to stall out for as long as possible if any picks can come through, but it doesn't seem like they can for Neptune.
Oh, what a hold. Obviously, at the end of that round, you're looking at two compositions that look drastically different than the way the round started. But that being said, they were doing the jobs that they needed to do in the moment. Whether it be the Pharah on the side of Camp Half-Baked coming out and cleaning up the fight as needed, or if it's the Neptune ball that was there to contest the point for quite a long time. I think both sides there could have easily taken that map. And I think at the end of the day, the Blizzard on the side of Neptune at the very end of that fight just didn't quite get the value it needed to in order to secure or prevent the respawners from coming back and allowing Camp Half-Baked to wrap up that point. Now, as we head into Village here, we see the same compositions online. Actually, in fact, we see Kia on the Mei. So as you mentioned earlier, it's going to be Mei versus Mei here. It looks like Pyojin has swapped over to the Tracer. So again, a little bit slightly different look here. I'm expecting them to go in and trying to initiate onto the Ana. And that Mei is dead on the side of CHB.
So CHB not going to be able to have that map editing tool known as the Mei Ice Wall. No Immortality Field for a moment either. No Reinhardt. Now Camp Half-Baked once again getting pushed off a point immediately. Neptune setting themselves off for a great start. Let's hope it's a little bit better than Shrine.
Absolutely. I mean, having been a tank in my many days in Overwatch 1, if you're a Reinhardt and you're looking at the enemy team and they have a Mei and you don't, you just know it's not going to be all that fun. And you add that to a man disadvantaged. You're left on the outside looking in. A nice Mei wall here to start things off. As things break down, the lamp comes out, and the anti-nade could be very, very brutal here at the very bottom.
Yeah, Fresh Toast just in such an uncomfortable spot. Either has to take the Mei beam or just get pecked in the back by that Ana. Either way, Neptune looking for a very clean fight.
Absolutely. I think they're setting up here really nicely on ultimates. They should be able to invest minimally here. I guess I would say they hopefully are probably looking for something out of Thomas on the Shatter before, anyone on Camp Half-Baked can build up an ultimate of themselves, which, can really steamroll this round if they can maintain control of this point and the ultimate economy.
Maywall's going up on both ends. Earthshatter in as well. Neptune going to try to use it to their advantage. It looked like the pin tried to go in, goes a little bit wild. Camp Half-Baked might have used that opportunity to regain some possession. Going to have to be Brightside trying to take a step back with, and will be successfully going in favor of Half-Baked, and that is a great, great return.
That is, I mean, being able to secure that point without having to invest any of the ultimates as well allows them to actually take over the economy now that Neptune has invested some of their ultimates. I'm interested to see kind of what comes out here first. I would expect an early window in order to halt their quick rotation 2 points. Here it is. And the Nano comes in as well as Blizzard and a Shatter. It's everything.
Yeah, the Nano goes out for Neptune, but immediately frozen up, stunned down, CC'd. It's like we're playing Overwatch 1 once again, but no, that's just a lot of damage being thrown down onto the tank of Neptune. Despite that investment, it's not going to quite work out for them, so they invest pretty heavily just to lose the fight.
Yeah, you're probably wanting a couple of those ultimates back, though. Pyojin here is doing a nice job cleaning things up. They have the Blade to work with in the next round. Obviously, I've been talking all game about one team running Diana and one team running the BAP. And of course, let's flip things on its head and put the Genji on the team with the BAP. Not having that Nano Blade combo. And as I say, Titan swaps over to the Baptiste finally. It seems as though they've finally given up and recognized that Baptiste is the better hero. I'd love to pat them on the back after this for making that realization at this point in the match. We have the beats online for both sides. The Mei ult, or sorry, the Sojourn ult may be coming into play here as Neptune engages.
Here's my prediction real quick. We're going to see Neptune hold on to that sound barrier until they hear the Genji Blade come out. We saw it happen on our push map, and we're going to probably see it here again. And these teams really trying to fight for possession. Earthshatter coming in from Neptune, going to be landing rather huge, and Camp Half-Baked getting jostled around because of it. Thomas going to be continuing to swing, cleaning up anybody caught unfortunate enough in their sights. Neptune not even losing a member in this fight.
Absolutely, but again, remembering that they get the map to about 96, so one fight territory, and they don't invest any ultimates. Neptune, on the other hand, are forced to fight the next fight, or every other fight after that, with the disadvantage in the economy. They have the beat, as you said, to counter the Blade, which I expect to see maybe not at the beginning of this fight, but maybe after a pick or two has gone to either side as things break down. But it's up. That being said, the beat comes out from Camp Half-Baked and is traded in kind from Neptune.
And this is all just a waiting game for Camp Half-Baked. You just pull away, you know that the Immortality Field's not there, the Blade's not there, and now you can just let PO run a little bit buck wild. This question is, can they get enough slashes? Ain't a pin! Neptune might have just turned things in favor in a huge way for them. A slight misplay by Half-Baked. It's going to cost them this round, and now we're going to Sanctum.
Absolutely. That, I mean, had every single hallmark of a Camp Half-Baked win there, except for the Thomas pin onto the ulting Genji. Literally steals the fight from their Genji's hands, which I'm sure Pyojin is upset about at this point. But they have every opportunity to close things out here on our third point. With both sides fielding the Batiste now, I'm interested to see how much value one gets over the other. Now that we finally can see them working in tandem, we'll have a better idea of which team is taking more damage based on how the support ultimates build. We see, not the Bastion, the Junkrat on the side of Pyojin here. That's going to be a lot of damage. Let's see if they can effectively deal with that.
It's gonna make the May's job a little bit more ineffective, you gotta think. Those May walls are not gonna last nearly as long against a Hanzo and a Junkrat. A lot of spam damage coming through here. Neptune looks like they're trying to wrap around, but I think both teams just kind of
are ring around the rosy right now.
Did a do-si-do and now just trying to meet each other with any long-range shots they can connect. But Pyojin taking a lot of damage. He's bailed up by the Immortality Field, and Camp Half-Baked going to be using that the second life to push ahead. And only one kill is going to go in favor of Neptune, but the point goes in favor of Half-Baked.
Yeah, I think as we were saying at the beginning, both teams rotated around because they didn't want to be the first one to take point. But Neptune decided to take it first, and they just didn't have enough to withstand the damage of the Junkrat and the Hanzo in a small room, with the Hanzo bouncing arrows off of the walls and the Junkrat doing the same with his mines. We have them re-engaging here into one another, and who is that who died? Cannot tell.
Looks like the Baptiste. Oh no, it's the Sojourner who has died. Neptune really taking a wailing here, continuing to suffer losses, and Half-Baked lose both their DPS, so unless those DPS can get back and fast, Neptune has an opportunity to break through this very delicate choke.
They do, and they've made swaps onto the Soldier and the Genji here, looking to seemingly take off angles and engage on their supports. Oh, and
nice.
Rain is off the map from a boop from Helix. Take that off your bingo cards, everybody.
Fantastic. We'll be looking for those and more kills going in. The Hanzo not going to be staying for long in this game after just having gotten back. That Junkrat dangerously low, has to be very careful, but Camp Half-Baked have a bunch of ultimates still in the pocket, including that Riptire.
Yeah, I'm interested to see whether they engage with the Riptire here or if they try and get a good fight out of things first. But it seems with Camp Half-Baked pushing in here, they're gonna have to find a way around Thomas's Shatter. And with these two small doorways here, it's always a challenge to find your way in effectively or cleanly, at the very least, as Thomas splits them in half. And
the Earth Shatter goes in, it does connect onto two, and the Baptiste is going to be taken down immediately, but it looks like trades are going back and forth even for even. The Genji Blade comes out, Pyojin gets taken down 2 for the price of 1 on that Genji Blade. The trap hits the Lucio, but he's just going to be jamming on point either way.
Absolutely, yeah. As I said earlier, I wanted to see that tire come out early, and it didn't. To their credit, they have it to initiate now, which is good, but they've got to get it out at some point. It can't be like the Blade from Midtown. It can't stay there forever. We've got to see it come out, and we've got to see them be decisive with the fight initiation. They are initiating with the Dragon here, but Rain's dead first.
And it's going to be the Riptire does eventually take down Titan, so now both those Baptistes are going to be out of this fight. Juicebox throwing in the Tac Visor, only to be met with a Sound Barrier, eventually being hit by that Fire Strike. Camp Half-Baked starting off on the very good foot. That Reinhardt dangerously low, though, eventually cleaned up. It's looking numbers for numbers right now. Neptune and Half-Baked both playing dangerously low. Taken down. Oh, but Rain coming into play interference.
They do not allow the 1v1 between the frogmen to take place. Though, oh my gosh, Rain's oh my goodness.
These supports, man, are just having the worst time, and it continues here as that Lucio goes down for Half-Baked. The amplification matrix is going to be coming out, trying to buy a little bit more space for Neptune.
It is, and it seems to be that as we head towards OT, that's going to be it. Neptune take the series on what was an absolutely phenomenal series between the two teams here. It could have gone either way at any time except for Sanctum there. It just felt like Neptune had the tempo. It just like they were initiating quicker, they were finding the enemy supports, and they, as a result, when you're playing the Rush Mirror, they're going to take the map.
I'm gonna be absolutely sincere here, man. This was a fantastic series, a fantastic set. I'm a little bit disappointed that last map ended how it did because it just felt so strong for Neptune. It didn't feel symbolic of how this entire exchange has been going for the last hour.
Absolutely, yeah. It was tough in many respects for Camp Half-Baked. I feel horrible for having cursed them in my predictions, but at the same time, as a whole, I thought the match was, I mean, it was tooth and nail. It was back and forth. You had the first point hold on Midtown, nearly completed by Neptune. In, all the maps of Nepal were back and forth and competitive. Obviously, that last map there, when they switched over to the Soldier and Genji comp, or variant of the Rush comp, they were able to isolate the supports quickly, and that was a win condition that led to them snowballing the map. They were able to go to the consistent support, the Batiste, which I had been talking about all match as being the better option, giving them the consistent, persistent existence for their Reinhardt, and letting their DPS take the time to go find the picks. And with that done, they take it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Jimmy, give us your read. What'd you think about the whole situation?
I mean, I want to say that was a great match, and shout out to my boy Fresh Toast. I mean, I don't know who that is, but I love their name, and I love their Reinhardt play. They were definitely
that was a great Ryan to play against.
Yeah, that's the voice of Tomas, by the way, who's joining us here along with Juicebox.
Hi. Get Majestic in, please. He just
from-
carried it. He carried us.
If you can get Majestic because of that stall, dude. That stall alone won us the game, unironically.
Absolutely. Y'all did phenomenally. I mean, it was extremely heated contesting, back and forth. Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts, anything you all think about how the match went?
You go first, Thomas, if you want.
I don't know. I'm just super pumped. That was the most fun I had in Overwatch. And like, wow, playing Ryan against Fresh Toast, holy crap, that was so fun.
Okay, I think
like you had a lot of fun.
That at the start we didn't really know what they were going for. Like Fresh Toast, we didn't really know him. We knew PO, we knew Drayton. They were pretty good, but we didn't know if they were gonna play Rush or whatever comp. And so they played Rush. They caught us off guard first map, but then we have this Brazilian Chad that is like the craziest Ryan I've ever seen. Like he's like shout out to Fresh Toast, but Thomas was fucking god tier.
I love hearing that. I actually wanted to ask about the comms because both teams, you guys were just exclusively playing Ryan, and I know Tomas, you love playing Ryan. I know TM26 also likes playing Ryan. Is that just because you two are just like Ryan players, or do you guys think that Ryan is just the best tank in Overwatch 2 right now?
It's actually neither of those. We went to actually TM was the Ryan player, and we both push maps are kind of like a bit rush oriented, so we just said put TM on Ryan for the first map. Then we lost, so when we came in, Midtown is a good map for like Doom and stuff, which is kind of what we planned. We didn't play as much Ryan. We tried to play other stuff that we thought was better. But looking at that team, I think I knew that I maybe could have an impact, so we just went for it.
Yeah, we could. That's like the thing. We said no, we can beat them on Rush, and that's what happened. To be fair, they did really good. Like their Rush is pretty clean.
Great. So also good at adapting. You're actually gonna go up next against Peachball, who played their game off stream against.
Peachball won.
Yeah, they won 2-0. According to Caden, who was in the chat, he told me that apparently they didn't drop a single point. So, do you have any words for your next opponent tomorrow? Anything you want to say to them before your match?
Who did they play?
Waggling Warriors.
Waggling Warlords.
Okay, Peachball, I'm gonna say that Luca is a bum ass. If I can say bum ass.
I'm actually just gonna say the same thing that I said when Blast Off. We played against IGP, who played against Pluto's Prodigians. I was not scared of them because look at the team they just played. That team's not that good. They did, but look at the team they're playing. We're just better. Doesn't matter.
I mean, we'll just keep practicing and winning, probably, hopefully. And we'll do our best to adapt because apparently we're pretty good at that.
Yeah, no, we're telling ourselves this is not a double limb bracket. This is a single limb bracket. We're just going to the finals straight up winning.
Yeah, straight up final bound.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good mentality to have. And well, I want to say thank you very much, Tomas, Juicebox, and Majestic for talking to us. Congrats on the very hard-fought victory, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you.
Overwatch.
Okay. Well, with that, I want to
Bye.
say thank you very much, Wolfram and Ben, for being here and casting this match. It was a lot of fun to watch, for sure. We're gonna head to a quick break, and we'll be back with our last match for the stream for tonight. It's gonna be NITEMARE 2. Yeah, they can exist again, apparently. Taking on ekittens. I think it will be Rain and Hot Dog taking you through that match, so you don't want to miss this one. Stick around, we'll be right back.
back. Never ever thought it'd steer me wrong. No, beauty doesn't last forever. The memories I'll always treasure. I didn't know when I found myself I could do anything. And you stand there thinking about what you'd be without me. Boy, you can try, but I'll only ever be true to my heart. I've always been who I really am from the start.
We're here. We've
Here
made
we
it
are.
rain.
We have finally made it. It's been a long day of Overwatch so far, but
Yeah.
we're here.
And it's only been like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like it just kind of goes on. But hey, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, man, we're here to cover all the action, and I think we've got a pretty banger match for you here. ekittens versus NITEMARE 2. Two of, I believe, probably the higher seeds somewhere in this tournament. I don't know the exact seeding, but looking at these rosters, I would posit a guess that NITEMARE 2, they're in at least like the top 3, top 2. ekittens, I would say maybe top 4. I think we're in for a banger here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at these names too. I mean, this is man, NITEMARE sure has a lot of team staff on there.
Yeah. Such is NITEMARE tradition, I think, where even the original NITEMARE had 9 team staff and only one of them ever did anything. But I digress.
Classic.
Maybe they're doing stuff this time, and that'll be a boon to this team. But even if not, looking at the players who are in the lobby right now, I see Navino, I see Mini, I see Ascend, some real shooters on that NITEMARE 2 team, and you know, there's a little bit of a consistency problem there. You know, Mini, he's a bit hit or miss. Ascend, you know, deflected Blizzard moment. But you know, I'm looking for ekittens here to have that consistency, and that will be what brings them through. But if NITEMARE are on, I don't think there's much that's going to be able to stop them, really.
Yeah, and it looks like Pomko is playing something. Clash of Clans.
He's playing Clash of Clans.
And we also got Tim Henson's Grim Invention also saying hello, which is what we always love to see on the broadcast. But yeah, no, I think you're totally on the money there. It's just really showing that up. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they kind of run as well, because I feel like there's been at least in my scrims and stuff, there's been a pretty wide range, I would say, of comps. It really kind of depends, like a lot too, of like kind of what they're comfortable playing, I think.
I would agree, and I think it also is very map dependent. So our first map here is New Queen Street, and we've seen a lot, especially in Contenders Overwatch League level. Some teams like the Spitfire, they want to run this rush, but then other teams they'll run this sort of Doomfist, Tracer, sort of like the Flies comp, where they just sort of hover around you and poke at you until eventually you just fall over. I don't think we'll be seeing much of that. I don't think we'll be seeing much of that in this level. I think we're more likely to see the standard rush, probably the Queen comp that we've been seeing with the Junker Queen and the Lucio. I think that's very popular right now because obviously it's the new hero and she's very strong. So she's a pretty easy win, especially because of how brawly the fights tend to be with that comp. It's very similar to Rush in the sense of that you just choose a target and in you go. It's very simple. There's not as much coordination as something like a dive or a ball comp. So I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a lot more of that, maybe some sniper characters, the Widow, the Sojourn, the Hanzo, something like that. That's my prediction for pretty much for both of these teams, to be honest. I haven't seen much of either of them, even from scrims or anything, so these are my predictions so far.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. And yeah, no, I'm not a fan of as a Chad Zen enjoyer. Not a fan of that Doomfist comp. I mean, it's just annoying to play against. If you're not on your, on your element there, watching for a flanker, I mean, you're just gonna get run over, and it's not pleasant. It's really not a good time, I would say.
Yeah, I could tell you that much for free. We've been trying to play Zen on Half Baked, and every time it's just some Doom, some Tracer. We'll just.
What's the deal with that? Like, let's have a good time playing everyone's Orby guy.
It's so rude. It's so rude.
Yeah.
But as
we are looking at some hog there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a hog.
I'm seeing a hog. I'm seeing a Sig poke comp from NITEMARE 2, which, looking at that, I would think that is a pretty reasonable comp to start with, honestly. The Zen Ana, the Sigma, the Sojourn, very much like stay back, keep your distance, poke from some distance, and then the Genji can clean up with the dash resets. But on ekittens, we're seeing a Zarya comp with the Lucio Moira. Very odd choice. Same DPS picks, but with the Lucio Moira and the Zarya, they're going for this Brawl, but with no big meaty shield tank like a Ryan or nothing like the Junker Queen. It's a very odd choice, I would say. I'm not a fan either, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. But as we get into this fight, Sojourn, as always, just poking from the side, just trying to get a little bit of damage going here, and they walk in, able to get a fair amount of just ult build up already at 20%, and that's a quick pick. So already ekittens is proving that Zarya might be a good idea, but falling dangerously low, needs to walk back as Sigma's able to find a lot of that healing, and now with Mick Meme out of the picture as well, it looks like NITEMARE 2 able to walk on and get some pretty good Yeah, some pretty good damage on this point here. It should be able to kind of reclaim that distance they lost here by just kind of fighting that first fight.
Yeah, so that first fight, it looked good at the start when you see Turget getting that first pick on the Zarya, but because you're having to go so far in with the Zarya and you're not playing with a standard sort of backline where they can sit back and stay safe while also healing you, you've got the Lucio and the Moira. Both of these heroes want to go in with you, and the Zarya, not ideal for protecting them in that situation. They get the first pick, but then over time, you had, at the time it was Zen and Ana, now we've swapped off to Lucio on doors, which is an interesting choice given the composition, I would say. And they were able to just out-sustain them.
Yeah, I mean, that's an aggressive flank there, and it looks like it sort of paid off. I'm not quite sure yet, as Envino does throw in the Graviton, or the whatever Sigma ult is. Now just getting flux that one. Now it does eventually fall down. Zarya is able to put enough damage on that Sigma to just kind of break through that shield. But while this is all going on, NITEMARE 2 has been pushing point, and now they need to walk in ekittens. Looks like they'll be able to get a little bit of a distance for themselves here.
Yeah, that fight worked out pretty well for the ekittens composition because they were able to take out the Lucio really early on NITEMARE 2, and from that point, your poke comp, you can't back up as easily. Which I was questioning the Lucio's point in this comp before, but now seeing that, it's very obvious. They want to be able to relocate so easily, and without the Lucio in that fight. Yeah,
Lucio in general, man, is just a must pick at this point. I mean, just having that ability to walk around. Speaking of walking around, I mean, this Zarya is just walking into them, trying to get some extra damage, and they are going to have to walk back to the point, kind of give it some distance potentially, as they're kind of starting this little skirmish here, just beaming down that shield, eventually able to get that Coalescence, pick off the Sigma, and now it's just back and forth once again. Both teams are down their tanks here, and now it's just a bunch of little dudes floating around. And now another pick for NITEMARE 2 with a blade popped out. Looks like they're going to be able to push this cart back and once again just kind of gain another advantage against the ekittens.
Yeah, these fights, they're splitting off into two separate skirmishes where the tanks and the supports, they're kind of like staring at each other across the way, but meanwhile the DPS, the Sojins, the Genjis, they're flying around. They're going into the backline of the enemy team, trying to make some things happen for their team, make some plays. And in this occasion, it works out for NITEMARE because you use so many ults. You use the Sojin ult, you use the Flux in the last fight, you use the Blade in what seemed to be like a 3v1, but ekittens, they're going to come back with their own Blade, they don't.
I mean, that's a big first pick. Not having that Lucio to speed them around like we were talking about before, such an important part of just comps in general. It makes quick work. And now ekittens is able to push back. Just kind of a little bit more of a little skirmish there, eventually able to find that the Ana pick. And here we are, back to pushing it the other way. This has been a very back and forth. What is it, 4 minutes? I mean, that's
very close. First 4 minutes.
Like, not a lot has happened.
Yeah, but that's what we've come to expect from Push. Very back and forth. I'm presuming one team doesn't get completely rolled. But thankfully for ekittens, that was a very economically sound fight. You only use the Blade. You don't have a beat yet because you used it in the previous fight, but you still have your Grav and your Sojin out here. Some big ults to pop here to win this next fight and get some momentum.
Absolutely. Now Sojourn has their ult ready on the side of the ekittens there, but does falls. I mean, those are some quick picks inside of NITEMARE. This Reaper, I mean, it's scary. I mean, again, you have the Lucio speeding him around. He's able to just kind of go in the back line, just do a bunch of damage, Wraith out. I mean,
I think the Reaper swap is very intelligent because they saw this ekittens line up where they're hoping to just keep this Zarya alive with the Lucio and the Moira. They say, well, what if I just shoot you really far with a big shotgun? And you see there, it gets the Sojin. The Zarya dies first in that last fight, so there's no chance of a Grav. There's no chance of a fight at all, really, because there's no tanks.
Yeah, you're exactly right here. And now another fight, able to eat the Grav. That is huge. And now another pick by the side of the Widow. I mean, unfortunately, Big Meme was looking to dive in and take kind of a revenge for that pick. But NITEMARE 2 is looking to they might have to walk back a little bit here. Just kind of walk in as Make Memes able to find the Reaper. They're going to still try to put some pressure on the point as they use the infrared sights here. And Turget able to find another pick. It looks like this might be a fight win for the ekittens as, more and more picks going to fall in there for them.
Very good start of the fight for NITEMARE 2. You have Mini getting a pick on the Widowmaker, and Navino with a big eat on the Grav from Turget. They've been holding that for 4 minutes, and they use it, and immediately it's eaten. That's really unfortunate for them, but over time, you had the extra sustain from these Moira heals. I think the Cole came out in that fight as well. Just over time, there wasn't enough heals on NITEMARE 2. You know, you have the Ana, she's good, but she's not a Moira when it comes to healing output, and in a fight like that, where it's all scrappy and broken down, that is what really matters from your flex support.
Absolutely, and that's a big anti, and that doesn't really do a whole lot. They weren't able to get a whole lot of advantage out of that, unfortunately. And now just another fight, just back and forth once again, trying to put enough damage on one target. They are able to find Lucio and the Zarya. There's no healing and no tanks, and they are able to get that pick on McMeme, but it doesn't really matter. I think EK will be able to push
stylish from Mini, but it's not going to amount too much. So, again, another from ekittens. What I've noticed so far, all these fights that they're taking are very economical. They see that somebody dies, they don't invest any ults. When they do invest any ults, they see, they invest the first one. They say, okay, is this one going to win us the fight? Yes, no. If it's on the brink, then they'll invest another one. But generally, they've been going just the blade, just the cold. One ult per fight. Sorry.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, hey, you're totally right. Being very economical. And they do invest their Reaper ult. Doesn't really do a whole lot, but Invino is able to keep on pushing in. Now they are going to be able to take some distance back on this payload. I mean, this is... Yeah, they really need to start kind of getting something locked in here. I feel like
the full rush swamp from Nightmare, the full rush swap, where they've gone the Reinhardt, they've got the Mei, and I think that's a really good idea. You've already got the Reaper and the Lucio. You might as well full commit and just try and cut off this team, split them apart so they can't stay together as much.
Like, speaking of, that was a good wall. It doesn't matter, though, as Sen gets a little bit too big for his britches. McMeme does fall, and Vino, unfortunately, joins the Ascend back in the spawn. Another fight win for ekittens. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I doubted the Zarya, but I mean, I think
I agree.
It's working well, or maybe I don't know, maybe Nightmare is just not being very coordinated.
I think it's much more to do with the way ekittens are playing it. Like we've said time and time again, the economics of these fights, where again, just the cold. They've had this beat basically the whole game. They've got another Grav ready. They've got a Sojourn ult ready. All these ults can win fights on their own. Whereas you look at Nightmare and which ults can do that? Maybe the Nano, maybe the Shatter.
Yeah, I mean, they walk in, and they're going to try and be aggressive here with that that speed boost in and a wall, and they are able to find a pick there. Not having Kumpo on the team is definitely going to be a good pick. Now, more picks coming in. ekittens back to spawn, and again, though, I feel like ekittens still kind of has the upper hand here. They are still kind of stringing together a lot more.
I don't know if
that
trend's going to continue, because we see from ekittens they use all three of their big ults just there. They used the cold in the previous fight and then beat, Grav, Overclock, all down. So now they're coming up on a blade, but that's about it. And Nightmare 2, they're coming in here with a Nano, with a Shatter. I think they have the opportunity to really rebound this.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that's a very good slam. Not able to get a whole lot. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. They are able to get 2 picks there. Looking like Nightmare 2 might be able to take the lead on this this push map here. Gonna be a lot of space for them to make up, but I think they've got plenty of time for these spawns to kind of walk in.
Yeah, after the bot takes the Beric to scratch his ass, the ekittens, they have chance to touch here, I think. I think they have enough time to get in and touch before they reach the checkpoint, and that's going to be really important because there's only a minute left on this clock.
You're totally right, and McMeme needs to make something happen with his Dragon Blade, but not having... Oh my god, I'm trying to talk and say who's dying, but it's just so fast. Nightmare 2, a lot of great aggression. I think you're right. This Brawl swap has been very, very good. A couple picks coming in for the Lucio, and now, I mean, Nightmare 2 are looking unstoppable here. Now only a minute left, and it is looking a little bit dire for the ekittens.
You look in the neutral fight, what does this Genji do to a Brawl comp? What does a Sojourn do unless you get a magical insta-kill with a headshot? What does the Zarya do against the Brawl comp, really? The Moira, you can keep your tanks alive and stuff, but past that, you don't provide as much utility as an Ana, even slight. So it's a really intelligent comp swap from Nightmare, I think. And in comes probably... Ooh, we all know what's going to happen here.
It doesn't matter. I mean, McMene's able to get 3, and 2 picks fall in the back, but 4 down for the side of the ekittens, and I think that's going to be a fight win. Oh man, that's so tough for Nightmare 2. They almost had that lead here.
Yeah, they definitely had the right idea. And Nightmare 2 actually does have the lead.
Right they do? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right, that's all right.
Oh, there's a little gray line. There it is.
Yeah,
glasses,
the resolution of the clean feed is not the best, but we're working with it. There's 10 seconds left. This is the last fight. ekittens, they're coming up on a Grav. They're coming up on a Sojourn ult. Nightmare 2, they used everything in that last fight to try and secure their lead. They lost the fight. It all comes down to this last engagement here.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Ascend gets a pick on that Sojourn. That's not going to be very good at all. I mean, yeah, it's looking like Nightmare 2 is going to come in with a fight winning, a beat invest as well as a Blizzard. I mean, nothing's going to be able to touch that point. And if it does, yeah, that's just going to happen. Nightmare 2, they kind of swapped that around, making it a 1-0 in their favor. That was a good swap for them.
Yeah, they certainly showed up, showing everybody why they are one of the favorites to win this tournament amongst the analysts in the community, which is everybody, of course. Analysis.
Here we go. And Vino making it happen. I mean, this was a juicer.
For sure.
That was a juicer.
But to the credit of ekittens, most of that map was in their favor, and for a good reason, because they were playing very smart, very economically. They weren't investing too much at any given fight. They were playing very much for the future. They were thinking, okay, we're going to win this fight, but what happens next? We need this ult, we need that ult. Don't use everything in this fight. And I think that's good omens for ekittens. I can see this being a 2-1 either way.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not out. I don't think anyone can look at that, what they did, and and say they are on the back foot at all. I mean, they are still, kind of doing a little bit more of an unorthodox comp. And it's tough to kind of say one way or the other if that's a good idea or not. Because if you're good at a certain comp, that's kind of unique. I mean, hey, there's a certain level of kind of like on the back foot, right? Like you don't know quite what to do with that weird comp. But at a certain point, if you get kind of countered, they get figured out. I mean, you're kind of up a creek, and there's not a whole lot you're able to do. You gotta be able to swap like NITEMARE did.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. If you're playing this unique comp with the Zarya and the sort of like super sustain healers, it works out for you for a while, but then, like you said, you get figured out. What are you going to do then? You need to make a swap. They didn't. They lost the map. That's unfortunate. I think there is a certain level of like, oh, this is our comfort picks. We're just going to play what we're comfortable with because this is only a weekend tourney. There's not that much time to scrim and figure out, communication, stuff like that. It's very much, I think, to people's benefits to play just what you're comfortable with. And if that's what ekittens are doing, then to be fair, they almost still won that map. Yeah. They were very close.
Oh, absolutely. I think, if they didn't swap, NITEMARE didn't swap, they would have won that. Because it was super back and forth, and ekittens consistently were able to just find those fight wins and get those picks and be able to kind of convert that momentum into distance. But no, I mean we got another map coming up here. Looks like it's gonna be King's Row for map number 2 for this match.
Interesting, an interesting pick from ekittens, considering they were just bested in a brawl.
I was just
not quite a mirror,
Whose
but
map was this?
Yeah, well, it is ekittens' pick, obviously, because it's loser picks. But interesting choice from them, considering how I wouldn't say dominated, but how effective the rush comp was against what they were playing. Obviously, there's going to be subs coming in for both teams because of mandated playtime. Perhaps this roster is more accustomed to the standard rush comp, and that's why they're going to King's Row. Or maybe they just think that if they had run the rush themselves, they would have won that map. It's up in the air. I think they definitely have it in them. Like, the way they've been playing, the intelligence of the play, you can definitely play a rush comp with that. And I'm thinking if, the tank player... Sorry, I don't remember the name. It's so low res, I can barely see it.
It was Vino and she was on ekittens.
Turget.
Oh, Turget, yeah.
If Turget is comfortable on the Rhine, run the Rhine comp for sure. And if, it's going to come down to if they can continue to play as intelligently with the ult cycling as they have been for this past map, because I would say they definitely did a better job than NITEMARE overall in terms of the macro. There was just these individual plays from NITEMARE. You got the pick from the Widowmaker, you got the swap you could play as a macro play, but the comp swap, the picks from the Widowmaker and these DPS picks, I think if it comes down to just these individual fights, you've got to, as ekittens, you've got to play it so that you're saving ults and you're playing it the way you have been. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I wouldn't get too discouraged by that last map. I will say the map pick now for King's Row is interesting, but presuming they have practiced a rush comp and they think that they're confident on it, I think they absolutely could win this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely on the money. I mean, I think a lot of it does just come down to how they play their comps. Again, like when they had their claws on what was going on with the fight, I mean, they looked good. So it really just kind of comes down to...
NITEMARE 2 has 6 players on the field. That's
I was just going to say, I was like, hey, wait a minute.
They're cheating.
Wait a minute.
They're playing on Overwatch 1
They're playing Torb. They're going to... Oh, there he goes. They're playing Torb. They're going to have him control the turret.
Bring in Khan in.
Do you remember... I don't know when you were started playing Overwatch, but I remember for a minute there was like a kind of a joke or like a meta where you can play like a level 3 turret. So it's like before the Torb rework, so you would be Bastion, you would like set up in the turret.
Oh yeah, and you'd have like the auto.
It was just like you just existed You just existed and you just had the best time.
Yeah, sure. You sit on the turret literally points toward the
Yeah.
enemies for you. You don't even have to aim, you just have a laser pointer. Oh, brilliant.
Oh my god, and remember Bastion had critical hits? Oh man, the sound of hitting just like the head with like a solid just spray of bullets, just oh.
People nostalgia for old Overwatch, but I don't think it was really that much better than it is now.
Oh no, I think it was 6 and 1, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
But you know what's not bad? Look at that dude holding an orb, spinning rings. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Look at him go. Yeah, we've seen. So Khan comes into play support for Nightmare 2. Doors is moved over to DPS. Mini is brought out, and over on ekittens, Sat B, she's brought over on the tank, and Hayden is brought out on support. So a little bit of changes. I don't know how comfortable Sat B is on Rhine. I know there was a bit of a meme where she came out on Rhine on a Nightmare map, and it wasn't very good. But I think that was just like a stall pick or anything. So they're gonna continue with this Zarya comp. They seem to be committed to this sort of weird brawl with the Zarya. I'm not convinced completely as of yet. They've been playing it well, and they're playing it with a Junkrat this time, so they've got a lot of front-facing damage with the Zarya and the Junkrat. I think it's an interesting decision to bring it to King's Row, but I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of front-end damage. I mean, Nvino is already, like, very low health, but it doesn't really matter because Nightmare 2 just kind of walks at them, which is exactly what we were kind of thinking would happen. I mean, they are hard Brawl, not a whole lot you can do with their comp to really kind of stop that. I mean,
Mace sets him up, and the Rhine knocks him down. It's that easy. Zarya, not much you can do about that. Moira, you can't jump over the wall like a bat can. It's just, you're pretty much hard counted in this comp by a hard Brawl. I'm looking at this. What is a Junkrat meant to do into this? Really? Like, you get walled off,
their best.
You can kind of jump over with the mines, but then you're down a mine to actually shoot people with? I don't know.
They just need to try. As long as Junkrat believes, they can make it happen. And they are able to make it happen with a pick like that. McMeme out of the fight in the spawn, forcing the Baptiste to use their Immortality Field. And now Sappy doing what they need to do on the Zarya. Love to see it. Now ekittens getting a pretty, I would say, an upper paw in this fight. Now just really just doing cleanup. And now some respawns are kind of coming in. This Baptiste needs to fall very fast. And Sappy, very nicely done. 2 quick picks. Now no one's on point, I guess.
Okay.
I want to go on point and cap.
The nobody touch point strat.
Right, I like
they don't get any advanced kills when they do that, so this actually gives a chance for Nightmare 2 to recontest if they have to, and they're going to. That might have been a huge blunder from the ekittens.
Yeah, I mean, Catmom is saying in the chat it was a mental game, but I think it might be a mental loss here, unfortunately. I'm speaking too soon. They are able to turn it around. They have to invest a Coalescence, though, unfortunately. Bunny coming alive when they need it, and yeah, I mean, they're able to walk it in.
More expensive fight than they probably would have liked.
Yeah.
On the side of ekittens, you know, it's a bit of an oversight. You know, whatever. You brushed that one off. Oops, we didn't touch the point, and they got a recontest. We had to use some ults to do it. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, getting that point with those ults, I see the idea, right? You want to take those advanced kills, see if you can catch any stragglers, and make it so that the recontest is impossible overall. But in doing so, you kind of let it happen. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters anymore. I don't think it matters. There's nothing to analyze there.
That is a
Taya go kill.
That is yeah. I mean, that happened. That was a Q press. So now they have. I mean, I would say Nightmare is in a good position here potentially to get a good recontest. They've got what looks to be Beat, Blizzard. They've got Earth Shatter. I think they're coming up. You know.
Coming up on Sojourn. I think
they're getting close. You know.
Yeah, the way Nightmare is going to want to play this, I think, looking at ekittens comp and what their comp is supposed to do against it, they're going to want to come in here with a very fast Blizzard. They just want to yeet that thing in as soon as possible. But it doesn't look like they're going to get a chance to because Doors is dead again.
McMeme, I mean, they are starting to be able to play this Junkrat effectively. And I think, yeah, Junkrat's not a bad pick at all. Hopefully that's not a sentence. And now the 2 are down with that Earth Shatter. This fight is just kind of popping off here. Still staying alive, and they do fall. Ponko is able to find this Reinhardt. I mean, that's huge. And now a Beat invested. Now ekittens are able to just push it in, walk it in, need to get this Moira pick, and hopefully they will get the checkpoint. But yeah, no, I mean, they were playing it. They were playing it bad that first point. It just took them a second to kind of get those first few kills that spam from the Junkrat. But now once they got it going, I mean they are trucking here.
And credit to Nightmare, they did play that fight the way I suggested that they should. They ran it in, they got that Blizzard out, But unfortunately, Doors gets picked off the bat. Not much you can do about that. That's unfortunate. The idea was still sound. And now Ascend swaps over to a Junkrat instead, not feeling the Mei, I guess. Good. I think that's a good choice. Given like the comps that we're seeing from ekittens, the Junkrat, there's not much that's going to be able to block that damage, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, man, ekittens, they knew what they were doing. They picked this map. And you know, it does fall after getting Bunny. Not sure it's really going to matter as McMeme finds Khan. This is just gross. He's able to pop in these mines right where they need to be. Once again, getting the upper paw for this team. Now they're walking it in. This is looking like they're going to be able to at least get it to kind of that little bump there before another recontest. But Dawes getting sappy and Ascend falling. All right, they got to back up there.
Solid stagger from Dawes there. But if you look at Nightmare's comp, they've sort of got an amalgamation now of their original comp and the ekittens comp, where they're still running this Reinhardt, but they've swapped off the Baps, they've got a Moira of their own now, they've swapped off the Mei, they've got a Junkrat of their own now. The only difference between these two teams is the tanks. And so that makes me think that they're kind of in the heads of Nightmare a little bit. They're seeing this comp from ekittens and going, okay, this is pretty good, we should play that.
Yeah, and now dueling coalescences popped out. ekittens throwing in another bomb, but Ascend able to get it. McMeme unable to make magic happen twice. Now just kind of walking in, and there we go. Vino getting a huge shatter. McMeme does find Khan, though. I'm not sure it's going to matter. Vino's finding another pick. Both losers are down. No healers on the team, on the field for anyone. But it seems that ekittens are able to take more advantage with that Sappy. Once again, locking the Zarya. Kumpo able to clean it up with that Sojourn, and now it is going into last fight territory potentially. If they're not able to back up and not get staggered here.
Healers die and the Zarya team wins out in that situation because you can bubble someone else. It's not just based on, oh, I shield this one particular area. It's a lot more scrappy with the Zarya, and that favors you when you don't have any healers. So the trade's working really well out in ekittens' favor here. Unfortunately, the respawns are in Nightmare's favor, so they only get a little bit of push.
I mean, that's gigantic. Kumpo able to find that tank pick, and with only having one tank on the field, it is already, you know, kind of slim pickings. Now Bunny walking in, getting Ascend. Now Dawes just trying their best to stay alive and get these picks with that ult. Doesn't matter. Sappy kind of proving why they're running Zarya. They know how to play it well and get value out of it. Now Lone Monkey, Winton jump, Winton fall. It is a 0-3 right now for the ekittens on King's Row.
A very fast push, and I think a lot of that comes down to Nightmare not knowing how to deal with this weird ekittens comp. But that's another facet of playing a non-standard comp that we didn't really talk about. Your enemies might not know how to deal with it, and they might have different ideas amongst the team. There might be some infighting there of thinking, oh, I'm going to go Junk, oh, I'm going to go Moira, to try and combat this. And in the end, they go for this Winston comp, but with a Junkrat and a Lucio Moira. It, like, anti-synergy in the comp, because who's going to heal the Winston when he jumps in? Why are you even playing a Winston in that composition? Like, you can't dive the Moira because she's just going to fade out.
I think that was just stall. I will say, to credit from Nightmare, I think that was just stall pick because it was
potentially. There was still a good fight or so before the cart was going to hit, so it's a little bit shaky if that is a stall pick. But
I'm giving it to him.
I'll give him benefit of the doubt in that case, and then unfortunately, Navino does walk into a trap and die. Such is the way of life sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was because I feel like their idea might have been, get them to get a primal fast because they're already grouped up. They'll be grouped up. Maybe get another extra 30 seconds off the clock by using a smart Winton ability. But yeah, tragic. They're not able to get that plan in action.
The only thing I can maybe think of with the Winston, presuming that wasn't a stall and that was an actual comp choice, was they were trying to just delete this Sojourn right off the bat and not have to worry about getting insta-killed. In which case, there are some merits to it, but why wouldn't you just play like a Sigma or something instead and just shield it off every time? I don't know. Yeah. It seems really weird. But we're coming in here. Things are basically the same as they were just as the round ended, except that we're on a Genji and Reaper with the Brawl instead of a Mei.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fast pick. I mean, ekittens already on the having the upper paw here. It's a very fast pick. So they're gonna have to reset, but they're just kind of walking in, just kind of feeding ult. But they're able to push the advantage. Not having that DPS ekittens is huge, but it doesn't really matter as Khan falls and Sappy once again playing the Zarya very well. This is gonna be a fight win for the ekittens. They need to make sure they don't lose any. There you go. That was close. It would have been. That would have been embarrassing if they lost a tick there.
Pretty embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, well done enough from Nightmare there. That was a closer fight than it should have been when losing, I think it was Doors right off the bat. But I'm looking at this comp, and they swap off to a Cass, I think that is. He's like 4 pixels on my screen, but I think that's a Cass. And I think that's a better choice than the Genji, because with the Reaper and the Genji, you don't really have any long-range capabilities at all. Genji goes in, and Reaper shoots people in the face who are stood right in front of him. Otherwise, and you're running a Ryan as well. So it's a very much a close-range only comp. It's a very weird. With Cass now, they have some poke potential. I don't know if it's going to out-sustain this ekittens comp, though.
It's not going to out-sustain that Lucio, but it doesn't matter. They're going to walk in anyway, and that doesn't matter either. Quickly falling, McMeme getting some value out of the Junkrat, finding Khan. I mean, they're looking very dominant on King's Row. Again, that first kind of, you know, eyebrow raise at them, you know, picking King's Row. I mean, I think we're definitely eating our words here.
Yeah,
they are looking
absolutely
very good.
Absolutely, in our words. They've got so much sustain with this Zarya comp that we didn't see it much on push because the fights are so fast. But when you can draw the fights out, when you can kite this Rhine comp away, you absolutely do win out in these longer fights.
Yeah, and they invested a Lucio ult into that as Sappy throws in the grab. That's huge. Able to get some right clicks in there. I mean, that's just gross. Lots of damage. Doesn't even matter. I mean, another team kill. That's gigantic for ekittens. And they're looking real solid.
The economy is in shambles for NITEMARE. They invest the beat early into that fight. They shattered the last fight after it was already lost. They had already lost 2 picks. Reaper ult looks like it's coming up. Again, it's like 2 pixels on my screen, but it looks like you're coming up on Reaper ult. It looks like we're coming up on Coalescence. Not very good economy from the side of NITEMARE. They're kind of just trying to win it in the neutral, and they see these opportunities and they go, I'm going to go for it. But it's never really ideal.
When they sped in through Hotel trying to get a weird angle on them, Sojourn jumping in like on a Tony Hawk skate park video. Just chunking down people from up top. That's gigantic, and a pick on Ascend. Not having Cass in the fight is gigantic. That's another pick. No DPS, and that's another... Man, they are just destroying NITEMARE right now. I think they are in the nightmare, to be honest, because these DPS on ekittens are just munching them right now.
But if there's a fight that NITEMARE's gonna win, it's gonna be this one. ekittens, they use both DPS ults. They're only 50% to any others. NITEMARE, they've got a Shatter coming up in 25. They've got a Coalescence coming up in 5. They've got a Reaper ult. If you go in fast with the Coalescence and the Reaper ult and just try to front head damage your way through this Zarya, I think this is gonna be your only chance to win a fight. But Khan's already dead.
I mean, this is gonna have to be. They're gonna have to get a gigantic Blossom here, or they're just gonna walk. Yep. Okay, there we go. Gets 2. That's gonna be the opportunity NITEMARE needs to walk in on. Sappy is still alive. She is doing her best, but doesn't matter. All right. So they were able to get it. I mean,
only just
skin of their teeth.
Shaky there from NITEMARE. They do invest both of those ults. They invest the Coalescence. They invest the Death Blossom. Losing Lucio right off the bat with the rush comp, very dangerous to try to invest into that fight. Honestly, in that situation, I might have tried to save. But at that point, you've got 1 fight left. I think it was a good decision from NITEMARE to invest into that fight if they thought they could win it, and clearly they could. Now they've got some more time here. They've got 2.5 minutes back on the time bank. They've got a Shatter coming into this. As long as you keep track of those bubbles, this ultimate is probably one of your biggest shooters on NITEMARE's comp, I think.
Where is he? Where is he?
He's
sneaking. What's he cooking?
He's stood in the trap.
Getting 1. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. Yeah, ekittens takes advantage of that. McBeam gets 2 picks. I liked it. I don't think that might have been the play, but I liked
the
it
idea.
nonetheless.
I like the
spirit. I like the spirit.
I like the bravado of that, but then of course there's a trap. There's a trap on the ground, so he can't walk further than he wants to. He gets 2 with the Shatter, but I don't think it's quite enough. But obviously because of that, they get some picks in that fight. NITEMARE with the vast respawn advantage. They're able to come in here and break this corner choke, which is arguably one of the hardest chokes in the game to even break. So in a way, I could say.
I mean, man, it's gonna get even harder not having that Moira. It is just like going from bad to worse. Like, it will literally be in the middle of sentences describing how they're in kind of a weird position, and it just gets worse. It's a quick team kill back into spawn for everyone. NITEMARE 2, they need to wake up. Open your eyeballs.
Hashtag wake up, NITEMARE.
Hashtag wake up. Wake up. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, every single fight now for the past has been like, what, 4, 5 fights? Somebody has been dead off the rip to Pomku and his right click with the railgun. Every time. And that was almost one right there. That Moira almost died.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was close. I mean, McNew doesn't find anything with that. They invest the beat to try and stay alive from this blade. Able to do a lot with that. Genji's still alive, and now Moira just wants to say hi. Oh.
Oh dear.
Okay,
No,
so
nobody saw anything
Nightmare is
again. It's
pushing
okay.
in. Nightmare's pushing in as to Hayden. Yep. I mean, yeah. Nightmare.
Sometimes
Sorry,
things happen.
I'm just distracted. I'm focused.
Yeah.
I'm refocused again.
Clutch beat from Khan blocks out that tire damage entirely, makes it a completely nullified ultimate, gives the confidence to Ascent to pull that blade out, and they do some work with it. But the thing is here, ekittens, they're going to definitely get a full 5 recontest, and Nightmare don't have much to deal with it.
Absolutely, and Coalescence comes out for T5K, trying to just chip them down and keep their team up and alive. ekittens are getting forced back, and Navino is just gonna walk in and try and just make something happen, get some space. But this Junkrat is doing so much damage. Sappy finds the last final hit on that Reinhardt, and now it is just cleanup. ekittens, man, they are making it interesting here. It is 1-1 here in this series.
Making it happen. Really proving us wrong. Their unique composition, as I will call it, definitely had its merits on King's Row. Something we didn't see, and at the start it looked like Nightmare had the upper hand. But over time, you've seen that these sustain heroes, the Moira, the Zarya, these long drawn-out fights where you can kite out the Rhine comp, you win out that in the end because the shield goes down, where the bubbles are constantly regenerating. Zarya is doing more damage from a greater distance than the Reinhardt over the course of the fight. It just won out, and I'm very surprised by it, but pleasantly. It was a very good showing from ekittens. On the Nightmare side, some questionable choices, and obviously, Pomku hits a headshot every single fight. You lose someone, it's 4v5. What can you do, really? You really just got to bounce back mentally from that, I think. Like, you're coming in here to Control as your last map. It's very scrappy, very individual skill-based. You got to put that one out your mind and say, okay, this time we got it, because we're gonna be careful this time. We're not gonna get headshot by Pomku every single fight.
And a lot of that, it's a mixture of positioning and just being aware. If you know you've got Sojourn looking at you and they're able to hit those headshots.
It might be a communications issue as well. Just being able to say, oh, the Sojourn is in this location. Use the ping system, guys. Use the new Overwatch 2 ping system. It's really good. I don't.
They gave it to you. They made it. They made it all for you guys. You're
Just
allowed
for
to
you,
use
Nightmare.
it.
You
Just
can
for
use
you,
it.
Nightmare.
Just for you.
Just for
did
you.
it.
Only
Just
you are allowed to use it.
Pog you. Yes,
Pog you.
Me. No. But yeah, really well played from ekittens. The economy was slightly sloppy from both teams in that match, because there were a lot more fights where it seemed like either side could win, I think. Whereas in Push, it's obviously, you lose someone, they lose someone. You kind of know from the get-go who's going to win that fight most of the time, so it's a little bit easier to be economically sound, I think. In that King's Row, there were some coalescences, some blades, some Junkrat tires that were used when there weren't that many opponents left alive. Whatever. But coming into Control...
there was a little sloppy, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Coming into Control, you want to shore that up, because that's how you're going to win these long Control fights. When you're like 99-0, you want to come back, you need to be cycling those ults. Because if you use all of them in one fight, the enemy know that, okay, we can just save up these ults and come in with, maybe we'll have like 3 or 4 by then, but we'll have 5, and we'll win the Q pressing fight.
Yeah, you're totally right, and we're going into Busan.
Bussin'.
We're going to Bus. We're going to Busan out in Busan.
We are bussin' tonight, boy. But yeah, looking the comps that I've seen from these two teams, presuming Nightmare want to continue running this rush comp, honestly, I'm finding it hard to not give the advantage to the ekittens comp.
Yeah.
Because especially on, like, you think about mecha base, you got a surprising amount of distance considering how much of, like, in the Zeitgeist, it's a rush map. You got a lot of distance between the point and the upper high ground here, somewhere a Sojourn could easily have a lot of value. And the Junkrat spamming from across the map. I think the only time I can see the rush comp really winning out is in, is it Downtown? The one with the little Harry Potter cubby under the point?
Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna go with Downtown.
Harry Potter, I forgot about the Harry Potter maneuvers. Ah, yes.
Yeah, like the Harry Potter sit under the stairs. My favorite sad strategy.
Classic. The classic.
That map point, I would give the objective to Nightmare. Just give it to him. No, I would give the advantage to the Nightmare comp.
Yeah.
Presuming they're going to continue running the same thing. Obviously, on New Queen Street, we saw a lot of different looks from Nightmare. They started out on this sort of pokey Widow, sort of Anna Zen style comp, and if they run that on Busan, I think I could see that winning out a lot of the time, especially on maps like Sanctuary, is it? I think.
Yes, yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're on the money, kind of with that analysis. I mean, I think NITEMARE. I mean, they do have the advantage. You know, I think their comp is good on one map, but overall, I mean, ekittens have just looked so strong. Again, kind of going with this more unconventional comp, having Satby on the Zarya. I mean, having Jim Henson's Grim creation on Junkrat. I mean, there's a lot to kind of take in on that team, and they're consistently clawing their way back into fights where they just shouldn't have the upper paw at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a curveball composition from the ekittens, but it's one that they're comfortable with, clearly, and it's working out for them. NITEMARE 2, it's going to have to be some individual step-ups. Mini is back in on the DPS for Ascend this time, so I'm looking for those Widow picks on Moira's. I'm going to look for Mini to do what Pomku was doing in the last map. Because, you know, you have Navino, he's hitting these shatters, but there's no follow-up on them most of the time. And, you know, the supports are doing their jobs, but as just a support when you're getting, like, out-comped, what are you supposed to do? It's really got to be either a comp difference, like you've got to swap up and find something to deal with this Zarya comp, or you've got to just trust that your DPS will step up and maybe run a comp like, I don't know, like a Mercy Ashe or something like that. Allow Mini that freedom, put those resources into your DPS stars to really bring it to the ekittens DPS and win it that way. That would be my best attempt, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they honestly, NITEMARE needs to stop kidding around here and kind of lock it in. I mean, maybe they try and do a swap here. You know, maybe they wake up from this Rhine comp. Maybe they switch it up here. Because I think the one thing they did well on that first map, the reason they won that was because they changed their comp and was able to kind of find a new answer. Maybe, you know, like we were saying, ekittens running a very unconventional comp. At a certain point, you get figured out. That's just, you know, them's the breaks. The same thing can happen. You know, you can get, you know, maybe you need to swap it again after you get figured out for figuring out how they figured out you. You know,
the mind game's going just back and forth. But for now, as it is right now, I think ekittens have a very, very tight collar on this map, a bit of a chokehold, if you will, where it's the onus is on NITEMARE now to actually make the plays. ekittens, they've gone 1-1. They're halfway to the reverse sweep technically because it's only first to two. That's the only way you can reverse sweep.
I don't know if you can, like, that's always a strange thing. Like, can you call a best of three? I mean, you can.
Reverse sweep. We won 2 in a row.
Yeah, let's go, Bog you. Yeah, no. I think the tail end of this match. I mean, I'm still gonna put it towards ekittens. I think here, they're just looking sharp in the tooth. I feel like. I don't know if
I'm trying to think of some more cat puns.
Literally, like the entire. I appreciate like we're like giving each other chances to like go slightly longer than usual just to think of
some more cat puns.
Like, oh, we have fun here. We have fun here on BPL.
B stream is the stream to be at. Honestly,
B stream, more like cool stream. B stream should be C stream because we're the cool stream.
So true.
And the C stream maybe should be the B stream because they're the best stream. But anyway, NITEMARE. We're going with the Mei Rhine.
Yeah, no surprises. No surprises. Because we're starting seemingly on mecha base, it looks like. So we're seeing the Rhine Rush from NITEMARE, still with the Moira. They've been discouraged from the BAP by the Moira play from ekittens. That's an interesting thing to know. So Rhine comps, you'd normally want that lamp, but they're going with the Moira. And ekittens, standard stuff. Genji instead of the Junkrat because we're not on King's Row anymore. But otherwise, the same comp they've been running the whole time.
Absolutely. And Kumpao already under kind of duress here. That Mei wall, very annoying. Not a whole lot you can do except just kind of walk around it, hopefully. And that's a quick pick. ekittens already on the back foot here. This Zarya is walking in, trying to kind of find another pick for their team, but it doesn't really matter. Reinhardt making the presence known on the point and getting some man, that's some good ult charge. 55% already to shatter.
That's well played from NITEMARE. They use the Mei wall, they isolate the Genji, and once that guy is out, there's a lot of your damage is done. Because the Sojourn, she's all about these instant kills, right? You right-click them with the railgun, someone's taken out the fight. Without your Genji, you're not doing as much consistent damage as this Rhine swinging on your team the whole time.
Yeah, good job on them breaking through that Mei wall, going through for quickly getting that out so they can rescue their Rhine. Or the other team rather. And Hayden finds a pick, Khan falls, but Mini just kind of equalizing it there. Another pick on the side of NITEMARE, probably going to be able to allow them to keep the point as McMeme tries to go around and find something to get an advantage, but Navino Throws in the shatter, tries to make the advantage himself, but it's not going to be enough. Sappy able to find Dawes, and it looks like they're going to be able to get this point. ekittens has finally kind of made their presence known here in this this first map.
And while they start out on the Genji, he immediately gets countered. They think, okay, no more Genji, back to the Junkrat, because that's what worked for us on the last map. And McMeme already almost has a tire in one fight. So fair to say, the McMeme Junkrat does a lot of work in this comp, and I think I agree that I prefer the Junkrat, even in less Junkrat favored maps, just because of how much damage you're doing. And with this team running Rhine comp, you know they're going to be grouped up. You know they are.
Absolutely, and a quick beat engage there for, or to fight the engage rather. Now walking in there, Kumpao trying to stay alive against this Mei as a errant fire strike finds McMeme. That's a lot of damage they don't have inside of ekittens, and that's gonna bite them as NITEMARE is able to get a lot of distance here, walking into them. They do invest the Blizzard. I'm not quite sure if that was really needed on the point, but at this point, I mean they're able to get a lot of time on this point here.
Yeah.
ekittens were able to stay alive and actually tie it as they do eventually fall to NITEMARE.
Yeah, somehow through that whole fight they do flip the point early. Blizzard is invested. You know, it's unfortunate it doesn't nearly hit anybody, but I can see where, you know, the panic was setting in, where you've sort of half lost this fight. You lose your Lucio straight away, which on a rush comp is normally a death sentence, so it's kind of miraculous that they were able to win that fight in the first place. But, you know, the investment of the Blizzard, the investment of, was it the Coalescence? Yeah, the Coalescence, not the Shatter. That was the last fight. They're able to win it out, even without that Lucio speed boost, and that is a massive boon for them, because now they're up to 70%.
Yeah, I mean, but on the flip side, ekittens do have 3 ults. Take that 2 ults as they throw in that grab. Now McMeme ready to make it happen. Doesn't matter. Mini has just been a gross just player on this Sojourn, able to pick it down. And now another fight win for a NITEMARE here.
And it's last fight. 95%.
I think you're totally right. Yeah, it's just now Lucio trying to stay alive, just trying to get that health pack once again. Doesn't matter. Dawes
and that's
with
it.
the right click.
That's
clean. That's 1-0 NITEMARE.
Clean end to the map from NITEMARE 2. You have Mini taking out the tire with a clean right-click headshot, I guess. Headshot on the tire, sure. Completely negating that ultimate. That would have been a nasty combo. You have Sat B's grab thrown in, your tire on top of it. There was the beat from Kant that maybe could have negated some of that damage anyway, but you don't even need to worry about that because Mini took it out. And then just the cleanup is nice and easy there. Because they flipped in that earlier fight, in the middle of the fight, rather than ekittens being able to stall it out for a minute, that meant that already NITEMARE were on last fight territory, and ekittens, they had to go and use their ults maybe a little bit haphazardly, not as they would have liked to, but in the end, it worked out. It worked out for NITEMARE, and you know where I doubted their comp versus the Zarya comp on that map point, here we see them coming in with the Sigma, the Zen Ana, what I suggested they would on this map point, because you can sit very far away with the Widow, with the Zen, with the Ana, and sort of poke away at this sort of, not slow because you've got the Lucio, but very like clumped up, very much not as mobile or as long ranged comp.
Yeah, and Mini here just poking away, trying to get those headshots. McMeme on the Hanzo, trying to do the same, but man, not gonna really have much of an opportunity to do much of anything. As 2 picks already on the side of NITEMARE. ekittens fallen. Sappy is able to find 1. Mini does fall, but it doesn't really matter as they lose the Lucio. Not much you can do about it. NITEMARE 2, a quick little fight win, and now they're already at 10%.
And then you see the exact some BM maybe from Dawes. Who knows? You see the advantage this comp gives you, right? Because before the Zarya comp is even able to get on you with the Lucio speed, with the Zarya who's all bubbled up and in your face and you don't want to fight her but you also don't want to ignore her, before they can even get to that point, 2 of their team are dead. Both DPS taken out by the opposing sniper, and I guess it must have been a Genji dash or something, because there's only 1 sniper on NITEMARE. But still, you see why this comp is advantageous on this point.
Absolutely. Now McMeme just tossing it in, trying to get some more damage in a NITEMARE. Another pick. Hayden not being alive is going to be really bad, but not as disastrous as T5K fallen. Man, it is back and forth once again, and now there are no heals inside of NITEMARE. This is going to be a fight win for ekittens if they can keep this going, but man, it is, again, back and forth. And now NITEMARE 2 were able to find that last little foothold, able to
individual plays from Navino and Mini, able to stall it out even without healers. You know, you have Navino on the point, spamming those Sig orbs left and right. He's able to take down Bunny. Mini's able to get some more picks from the Widow from very far away. You know, you can't really damage him as a Moira there anyway.
Sure.
And now we're on very close to last fight for NITEMARE here. Like we've had the whole point already.
Yeah, this is going not quite very well for ekittens, and now 2 picks already for them, and now Coalescence from Bunny does find the Zenyatta. That's pretty huge, but I don't know if it's going to be big enough. Again, like, they're trying so hard to make something happen, and just having this Genji hanging out, just wreaking havoc. It's very tough to do much of anything, and they are ready with the blade. I don't know if they're even going to need it, as it looks like it is getting down to 0.
I think that might be it. I can't actually see the number that the point is at, but yeah, it's already overtime. It's already 99-0. I thought that was a beat coming in. But no, we've swapped over to we swapped over to D.Va here for the stall, but it's not going to matter because we, like you said, we got this blade. Mini is getting the picks. It came in with a roar and out with a little for the ekittens.
Yeah.
Out with a whimper.
That is, I mean, that's unfortunate. I mean, for ekittens, where everyone's happy for everyone to win. It's unfortunate for them.
Unfortunate for the ekittens. They had a very good showing, I would say.
What happened to Jim Henson's Grim Creation down there?
He's out.
He's disappeared. Oh no! Now it's just Thomas Banglater of Daft Punk.
So true.
So true.
Where's the Clash of Clans, Pomku? Bring it back.
Yeah, Pomku, bring up the Clash of Clans. I didn't know how the game's going. But yeah, I mean, again, a good game of Overwatch here. Glad to see NITEMARE were able to, like, we were kind of like hoping they would find a new solution. They went from, having a rough kind of go of it to find the solution. Again, having a rough kind of go of it, swapping again, and they really kind of stymied ekittens. They weren't really able to do a whole lot against what they were running there on that map.
Yeah, where it felt like halfway through King's Row, they sort of lost confidence in their Rhine comp.
Yeah.
They were sort of swapping everything left and right. They come into control, they say, okay, no more silly business. We're going to stick to what we're good at, stick to what we know, stick to what we believe is going to be better than this comp, and in the end, it does work out. And I think looking at this team, the rush was good, but the Ana Zen Sig sort of poke comp is definitely where they excel, because that was flawless from them on Sanctuary. Not a single point taken from ekittens. Every single fight, there were picks from Mini, picks from Doors. It was beautiful. Beautiful play.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was, they did a good job. Definitely earned that win. Looking like we do have some interview, some gamers in here. How we doing? How we feeling after that dub?
What's good, guys? Hi.
Hi, team. Hello, friends.
What's good? I think I asked you first. I asked you first. You can't ask me after I ask you.
Oh, sure. You're the announcer. Okay.
I'm just in the stream. I'm just hanging out.
I have booze and I'm drinking.
That's fair.
Nice. So I have a question.
Sure.
About halfway through this King's Row, you swap off of the standard like Ryan Rush comp to sort of a mishmash of what you were originally running and what ekittens are running. You swap to the Moira, you swap to the Junkrat off the Mei. What's going on there? What's your thought process behind those swaps?
Pure drunken tilt.
Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think 2 of our team members were drunk. That means me and Navino. And then yeah.
You think 2 of them were drunk?
Well, I definitely am. I don't know about Ascent. I definitely am.
Yeah,
I like how there's a question.
When I said to match chat that I was taking a shot, that wasn't a lie.
Good.
I didn't even see that.
I didn't even. Yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm happy you're living your best life, man.
I'm literally playing at my office right now.
Nice.
Wait. Okay. Wait. Hold on. There's a lot.
We have a LAN center set up at my office.
What?
I work for an esports company.
You just have 5 o'clock in your cubicle, my man. My man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I work at an esports company, so it's like.
Oh man. Well, that explains that. But so after that first kind of map on push, I mean, you guys had to kind of figure out what the difference was, right? Was there much like talking, like swapping of the comps? Because it felt like you. What was that?
Are we on Facebook? I like when.
No.
I would ignore Ascent. Ignore Ascent. He's an idiot. When it comes to like the comps, like no one else had ran Zarya against us in scrims or anything. So I was honestly like, I either want to play Rhine or I want to play Sig. Those are the two things. You saw on push, I swapped to Zarya for like a nanosecond, but
you're testing it out.
And I was like, yeah, this hero sucks. I'm getting off it. Truth. So yeah, and I just proved that I was a god tier Reinhardt, of course. Even though my
yeah,
my
I like the
D key
flank
was
shatter.
not working. My D key was not working the entire game.
Nice.
I had to double check what button that was. Yeah, not people to turn right. That's unfortunate. But at
Yes.
least you're able to press W and get in their backline with that Q. I liked that.
I literally said
was
I'm
good.
getting creative, team, and I moved.
I would say so. I would say so. But do you have any closing thoughts? Any closing words to send to the masses watching?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I got fucking cooked. You and Pumpkin. No lie. Paracelsus, what do you have to say?
All right. Why? Okay, so this match got delayed for like 2 hours. We got like 8 people. We're all waiting. We're about to go for all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue right now, and like we've just been sitting here waiting for this match to be over. So thank you guys. Like all respect, but I think we need to go eat now. I'm hungry.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. GG guys. It's been a great run.
And there he goes.
Yeah. Look, all I got to say is.
What is going on? What is happening?
All the captains are trolling by letting me go for 100K. And
so true.
And I will now take another shot.
Well, good luck.
do it,
Remember to
man.
drink water. When you wake up, have an Advil. Take a glass of water.
I don't get
another Advil.
hungover like at all.
That will change.
I'm 25. I'm already old.
That will change.
All right, fair. Thanks for
All
casting,
right.
guys.
Smooches.
You're welcome.
Smooches.
Well, we did it, Rain. We made it through whatever that interview was.
We did
One
it.
Piece.
Definitely
Mostly One Piece.
an
I started to
interview.
lose it a little bit there. I wasn't quite sure if we were going to survive.
Yeah, well, it definitely was an interview the BPL has provided.
That is
But,
one of the interviews of all time.
Some interesting insights into the mechanisms of Nightmare 2. Yeah.
Oh, but we got an updated bracket here. It looks like we're still waiting for one of those matches to be decided. But we got Gumble Gang and Nightmare 2 going up in their next match. I mean, that's with a name like that. I mean, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think that was definitely going to be another close one.
Is
I'm
it
looking
Gumble
at
Gang? Is
yeah,
that the name?
Gumble Gang. Yeah, that's
That's
it.
awesome.
Definitely another close match from what I saw of Gumble Gang earlier, because they played just before I did earlier today. And I think that is actually a Peach Ball with a victory over the Waggling Warlords. So it'll be Neptune versus Peach Ball in the other semi-final, which I haven't seen either of these teams.
Yeah.
Really, not from the outside anyway. I played against Neptune.
Did it just like? Oh,
Yeah, there you are. I played
there,
against
hello.
Neptune. I have no idea how Peach Ball has been playing, but I'm expecting both the semi-finals to be somewhat close. But that does mean, of course, we also have our lower bracket round 1 matches, which will be ekittens versus Spear Squad and Camp Half Baked versus Waggling Warlords, which is going to be some interesting matches there for sure. I'm going to say, just as probably not that hot of a take, I think ekittens are going to roll over Spear Squad. Just looking at how they played today. I'm not going to talk about Camp Half Baked versus Waggling, because that's my team. Camp Half Baked's going to win 2-0. Very easy.
It's gonna be a 3-0.
3-0.
Somehow you're gonna make it happen. It's gonna be a truly a sight to behold. I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I don't know if there's any more matches being played on this stream today. I don't think so.
I don't believe so. I think this is it.
Unless we are told otherwise. It's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say now or have, oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's the meal bell. It's time for me to get some McDonald's.
It's time for us to go and it's time for me to go to sleep because it's 3 a.m. and I have to be up for work at 7.
Well, listen to new Black Midi album to get you psyched up for work in the morning. It'll get you there.
I love Death Grips.
Yes. Well, thank you for hanging out with us gamers. It was a pleasure. Tune in tomorrow. I believe games start at like what? 2 p.m.
2 o'clock. 2
2
p.m.
p.m.
EST.
Eastern Standard Time. So
Do we have a match schedule for tomorrow to show the viewers, or is it just you'll find out when you find out?
This is me gesturing, pretending that I'm pointing at the map.
No clue.
No clue.
Come back at 2 p.m. to find out which teams are playing. It'll be
see some
great.
games. Overwatch will be played, but in the meantime, I hope dreams will be made in your sleep and not nightmares. But I hope Nightmare gets their dream. I'm losing.
What is his outro, dude?
Adios.
Somebody take it from us, please.
Oh boy. Hope you all have a pleasant evening. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Still going. Prod.
Two Coliseum.